Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back to Rise and Shine College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, and if you love college football, you know you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame college football. Good morning, Professor and Chicken. Welcome into the show. Good to see everybody today. Hope everybody's having a good Monday so far. We will be having our special guest, Michael Bogonowski Sr, in here this morning at at the top of the hour, 10 a.m., or I'm sorry, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. That's 10 a.m. on Central Time, though. How's it going, everybody? Welcome into the show. Make sure you check in and like the stream as you get here. Professor, what's going on with the Gators? Are they going to get rid of Billy or what? What's happening there? Let us know. Let us know. Let us know. Look there, Bevo's bodyguard. You are quite persistent with being a pain in the ass, aren't you? It's all good, though. Welcome into the show. Let's see. Who else? Stephen G. Getting some coffee, then he'll be in here. Sooner Brandon, welcome into the show. Good. How's everybody feeling this morning? Hope everybody's good. Let's see what else we got. Rob Hill. Billy gone. Billy gone. Yeah, I haven't seen anything official on it yet, but I'll take that as an official, more than likely, right? Sheila Smith says, good morning. Welcome into the show. Welcome in. Let's see. Big salute. Bishop Frank. The barbecue cookout family. It's always, we've got new stuff all the time from a good source. Yeah, I think it's pretty sure. Hey, welcome in. From a good source. Got my eye on it. There you go. No worries. Sooner Fan 71. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Sooner in Texas. Morning, all. And Kimberly K. Good morning, Kimberly K. Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome into the show, everybody. Hey, let's talk a little bit about what we saw on Saturday. Great first half for the Sooners. Not as great in the second half, but you saw them really kind of bring it together when they had to. It was time to make a stop. They made a stop. Still held this a Tulane offense that coming on the heels of a almost 500-yard day against Kansas State the week before. Oklahoma holds them under 300 yards for the day. Gave up a couple of TDs, but honestly, pretty good performance all the way around. You know, you had some moments where you're like not overly excited, I guess, about the way that they played on offense. But I saw some things from Jackson Arnold that was honestly, it was a breath of fresh air to see it. You know, the main thing that I saw, I really enjoyed seeing the fact that Jackson was hitting those passes. He wasn't waiting to throw it. The ball's coming out, even sometimes before, you know, the receiver was where he was going to be. He was throwing it to the point where he was going to be. So that showed some significant changes, some growth there from week to week. Stephen G, sorry you guys will have to deal with Lane. Good morning. Coach Ricks, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Thanks for coming on the show Saturday night. Always good to have you on. Let's see, adversity will help this team in upcoming games. First half was good on the offense. Defense has played great so far this season. I agree. DG looked good this weekend, too. Good for DG. Yeah, Dylan did. They do. Honestly, that's the best they've played against Oregon State and since Dan Lanning got there. So that was a big win for them. Yes, please do. Wipe your feet when you come in and share this gumbo, as Bishop says. Good morning, Benji. Welcome into the show. Not going to keep that up for very long. I got to get some sound effects on here at the home studio. I don't have the sound effects machine, so I'm gonna have to work on that. But I can grab a couple of things soon. On that field goal where we had the delay a game, can anyone confirm whether it would have been good? It was good. Yeah, it was like over 50 yards, and it was definitely through. It would have been good from 60. It was well done. I'll tell you this. That right there, you always see Coach Venables yelling. You know, that's his way. He yells. And I don't think that bothers anybody. But he was pissed. You could see it in his face. He was shaking his head, and you could tell he was holding back the explosion on that one. But that's a good thing. You know, he's expecting them to, if you're seeing anything that you're really not happy about, it's more or less that they're making little mistakes here and there that'll cost you ball games. And he's kind of had enough of it. And you can tell that's what it is. And just kind of looking at what he's basically said and after the games and, you know, before even that, you know, we got to be a lot more consistent in everything that they do. And that's what he preaches is consistency. And he's consistent in that part of it. And I'd love to see them kind of do a little bit more of that. Just holding people accountable. And I think that's what they're doing. They're holding people accountable. I'd love to see some more accountability coming from some of the coaching staff as well. Particularly, you know, guys, I've talked about this a lot, and I wanted to say this before I got Big Mike on. I don't want to put him in any position, but you got to see a better rotation going out of that running back room for sure. I don't know what it is about that they don't want to keep Taylor Tatum in the game, but he needs to be in the game. You know, just the other day, he had 9 carries. For just 27 yards and a touchdown, which, you know, that's not great as far as the yards per carry thing. But immediately you see explosiveness there. He had a touchdown on the ground, one through the air as well, 9-yard touchdown. But there's just a difference, and you can see it pretty well. God, guns, and ammo. God, guns, and ammo. Must be our Tennessee fan. You think so? Well, I'm going to ask you this. What do you think is going to happen with this defense that you're going up against? Because you haven't seen anything like that at Tennessee yet. You haven't. So I don't think you're going to be scoring as much as you think you do, because it won't be a clean pocket, and you will not have receivers running free through that OU secondary as well. But, you know, welcome in. Kind of figured we were going to get some of that today. Kind of figured. Is it a Division II team? They get a team that was ranked in the bottom of the 120s, maybe even into the 130s coming in with General Booty as their quarterback. It's going to be tough. Going to be tough for old Texas this week, isn't it? Let's see. Good morning there, Rob077. Good to see you. Yeah. I think here's the thing. The one thing that I would tell you about that is that I think that this is a really good offense that you're going up against with Tennessee. It is. They've got really good quarterback. They've got a good running game. They've actually done better in the run game, I think, than they've done in the passing game, looking at it. To be honest with you, let's see. I had it up here for sure. Yeah, they've already got over 1,000 rushing yards. They are a little under that. I think they've got 900. Yeah, 909 passing yards so far this season. They've got 1,009 rushing yards, 7 yards a carry. So, but that's one of the things that you're definitely going to probably try to take that away as well. Yeah. Oh, yes. Onside kick up 30 in the first quarter against Kent State. I could see it if it was Mizzou or OU. Yeah, I'm not too sure what I think about that either. I mean, I'm a Josh fan. You know, I'm a Josh Heupel fan every week, but this week. I'm not a big hater of Tennessee, but some of their fans are making it hard right now, just assuming that that's the same kind of team that they've been playing the same kind of people that they're going to play this weekend. And that's not the case. We all know that. Yeah. It does look elite, but it's not as elite. It's not as elite as everybody's acting like it is. And I mean, even with Nico, he's a little ahead of he's ahead of Jackson as far as yardage is concerned and passing percentage, but he's only thrown 6 touchdowns, has the same amount of interceptions to Jackson's 7 touchdowns. And then Jackson has an additional 2 rushing touchdowns as well that he got this past week, and he's got 1. So, yeah, I don't think it's not as cut and dried as everybody wants to make it out to be. I think where they're doing better at right now is in the running game. No two ways around it. I don't know that you're going to run against this Oklahoma defense, though. I just don't know that you are. Yep. I like Josh also, and he did a bunch for OU when he played here. Look, man, he won. He won games, and he was big for the Oklahoma Sooners. Yeah, you're not going to get Oklahoma fans to say a lot bad about Josh Heupel, but I would tell you that. Yeah, whatever, man. I don't really care about what you're talking about there. And he probably shouldn't have it's probably a little crazy to do onside kick right there. But what I'm going to tell you, God's gun and ammo, God, guns and ammo. I'm going to tell you this. It's not going to be the same thing. You're coming into a situation. This is a tough place to come and play as well. You think it's just going to be like playing in Neyland. It isn't. And I think you're going to have a rough time with that as far as that goes. And then the other part of it is this defense is nasty at every level. So Nico will see things that he has not seen on film or ever coming out of this defense. And so I think we're going to have a good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. Their offense, the Oklahoma offense, is getting better by the week. And I think you'll see some better play. I'll tell you what, the secondary better be a lot better than it has been and what it's looked like coming into all this. That's for sure. Well, I'll tell you, I think Tulane would have beaten NC State. Looking at that NC State game, but I'll tell you this, I think that Tennessee's done what they're supposed to do. They've stepped up. I'm not saying anything bad about them. They've definitely stepped in there and played better. They look really good overall. Again, when they're the darlings, the media darlings right now, just like kind of Texas is. I said this last night in our Discord that, you're looking at a situation where you're not going to get any love for Oklahoma. You're just not going to do it. It hasn't been happening for the better part of the last year. They want to give love to Texas. They want to give love to even Mizzou in comparison. But I would tell you that, and now Tennessee as well. Everybody is in love with Nico Iamaleava. He's a great-looking player. Great-looking player. Do I think he's better than Jackson? No. I just don't think that he's had to go up against anything like what Jackson's gone up against in practice and some of that other stuff and dealing with the same situation. He's got a pretty healthy offensive line. OU's has been patchwork up until this point. That will be the biggest question in my mind will be, what are you going to do against that defensive line from Tennessee? Because we know it's good. We definitely know it's good. They probably have, among, if not the best defensive linemen in the country as well. So you definitely got a fight on their hands. There's no two ways around it, but this is what you expect from, your first SEC game, no doubt. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to see what happens. I'm not talking trash either. I think a lot of what they've done at Tennessee. I do. I think a lot of what they've done at Tennessee. It was a dumpster fire when Josh got there. Bad situation. and he's flipped it around quickly. Do I think that they looked good this past week? They didn't look great in the second half for sure. They could be better for sure. They could be better, and I think they're going to get better. Again, you got to remember that 5 out of the top 6 receivers coming into the season, or even just expected receivers coming into the season, or haven't been in. So it's been a lot of tinkering, see who's going to do what. Deion Burks you haven't seen him going deep and off a lot even, but the one time that he did, he made a mistake on the route. He should have finished the route going side to side instead of making it skinny. That turned into one of the interceptions. And then I think that last week they looked a lot better in the first half. In the second half, they definitely sputtered at times. But I would tell you this, that Jackson looked a lot more decisive in running. And I think that that's what you got to do. I think you need to move the pocket around a little for him, keep him clean, and let him run. Let him go and just kind of be an athlete. I think that that's what you see with some quarterbacks, that's what they kind of have to do. And when he played in high school, it was tough on him. They had to move the pocket around a little bit there too, because he got sacked a bunch early on in his career there. And so that was something that they had struggled with. He never really played with a clean pocket. So that turned him into kind of a different kind of quarterback where, you can, and if you remember back to like Baker Mayfield, that was what Oklahoma did then. They was smart about him. They would let Baker kind of do things on the fly, running out of the pocket, turn him into an athlete. And I think that's what you want to do here with Jackson as well, particularly when you have a defensive line that's going to put pressure like this one is going to on him. I think you go ahead and make it easier on him. But I don't know that we've seen everything that we're going to see out of this offense either. Hopefully Nick is back this week. Nick Anderson. We've been hearing, I'm not sure what's going on with Andrew Anthony. We'll find out more as the week goes along, but look forward to kind of seeing Nick back for sure. He was in uniform this past week and would love to see him on the field. I think that changes things a lot for OU. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's where I think a lot of people, again, we've talked about this a bunch, but I think that most people at Oklahoma is still struggling to understand what it has to be in order for you to really be a championship contending football team. And it's not making sure that you score in the 40s every week. It's not, and it's the race to 50 is no longer a thing at OU. Now, that's hard for most people because you're used to seeing big numbers, lots of scoring. I mean, that's what you kind of want to see as an Oklahoma fan, because you know that's how you've won basically over the last 25 years. Ever since since Stoops came in and brought Mike Leach with him, it's been an offensive juggernaut. Aside from the championship year in 2000, 99-2000. Josh Heupel and that team was they kind of led the way early in the season, but by the time the Texas game rolled around, it was a defensive thing. That's just what they did. And so that's how you're going to win championships here at this level too. You have to be able to play good enough offense and be explosive. And I think that that's the question that you have if you're an Oklahoma fan is, are we explosive? And you haven't seen a ton of explosion yet. So it is concerning, but I think that the line is definitely getting stronger as you go along. I think you might get Hickman back this week. Maybe not. We're hoping for it, but we're going to have to wait and see. We're just going to have to wait and see. Yeah. Defense giving up 2.2 yards per rush and not a single rushing touchdown. So I'll say they're pretty dang good against the rush. You're right, Sooner Brandon, not a doubt. Want Tatum and then Franklin at 2. They're the ones that have found air, and Franklin doesn't get to play any. I'm not at practice, but I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night. Yeah, me too. I have kind of wondered what's going on with Sam Franklin, and I wonder if it's not the same thing that they almost had to play Tawi a lot last year because of the fact that you had Javonte and Sawchuk were both injured early in the year. And Javonte turned out he was injured the entire year, but I think that they kind of had to play Tawi. We haven't really seen that they have to play Sam Franklin. And as a matter of fact, as long as DeMarco has been on the sideline, they haven't played him. So that, again, this is where my issue is that I don't understand what DeMarco's doing there. I just don't get it. And forget about the rest of the guys is whatever, man. You want to do seniority and kind of some of that other stuff, though, okay. But Taylor Tatum, get his ass in the game. I don't care that he's not great at pass pro at this moment. You can do some different things with that offense and working with those coordinators to work that out, because he's the guy that we're seeing big play capability out of. He's the guy, freshman or not. I don't care that he was there in the spring or not. He's the guy. Get him in the damn football game. Overall, let's see what. Sheesh. He's got half the carries of Javonte Barnes on the season. 15 carries total. He's averaging 6.8 yards per rush. 6.8 yards per rush. Get him in the damn football game. Behind the desk with only shorts on? Yeah, who's to say I'm even wearing those there, Ryman Lemon? Who's to say? Oops. Dang it. You got me all screwed up here, Ryman. Screwed with that. What, at Tennessee? The front seven, you're saying? I like their defense. It's looked good. I liked it last year. But their secondary is definitely a concern, I would think. Yeah. Yeah, I think they need to run the ball. I think they need to keep the sticks moving. That's another thing that you saw this past weekend. And look, I mean, we talk about Tulane game all you want to, but this is a team that has been probably one of the better Group of 5 schools for the last 3-4 years now. And they replaced a really good coach with a really good coach. And they've got that quarterback the week before, he had 350 passing yards against Kansas State. And Oklahoma shut him down. They shut him down. So to me, had a couple of good plays out of him, and that kid was electric as well. This is a kid that came out of nowhere to kind of be the starter, but he's proven that he should be the starter there. I liked what they did. And for the offense, you're talking about the offense for Oklahoma, they came out and went 5 for their first 5 third downs. Okay. Ended up being 7 of 8 in the first half on third down. That's big. That's an improvement that you wanted to see. That means that drive got extended at least more than, the 3 and outs is what you really can't have. It's what you really can't have. And that'll keep Tennessee from getting in much rhythm, particularly if you can get in there and get them turned over. I think that's the main thing, is your offense needs to come out and be able to put up some points early on. You can get some points early on, not get behind in this game to where you end up pressing too much, that you can just kind of sit on a lead and, make them work. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, wide receiver's been disappointing so far this season. Boomer Sooner for one forever. I mean, but why has it been disappointing is because they really haven't had it's a bunch of guys that haven't had a lot of time with the first team offense. A lot of freshmen, a lot of smaller guys that they're putting at the edges. I really haven't understood what was going on there either. But when you have 5 of your top 6 guys out, that makes it hard. You know, it's one thing to have some freshmen that you like, and I think that they've had that, right? Um, I just think that but it's hard to depend on those guys to be your number one guys and not be able to work them in a little bit at a time. I'd love to see more of the bigger guys out there, though. JJ Hester, I think you kind of need to have him in the game more. And if he is injured, as they talked about, then why are we not seeing Ivan Carey on 6'6"? You know, just his ability to get some of those 50-50 balls, you know, you don't have to be perfect with a guy like that. You can get it in the area and throw up a 50-50 because he's probably going to be the one to go up and get it. I think that's the biggest thing about Nick Anderson being out too. He comes down with those footballs. And so it's going to be good. We need that. We're playing this year's gauntlet for the long game. This game will probably be a loss, and we need to look at the wins we can get for the season, Missouri, LSU, etc. Yeah, I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you. I think that no matter what, and you can look at the gauntlet schedule if you want to. To me, I think a lot of Sooner fans agree with this. I would rather have this schedule than what Texas has. I would rather have it because even if it doesn't turn out as good as we would like to see it, 9-3, 10-2, whatever, you're definitely being battle tested for the next year. You definitely are. But in the end, I think that a lot of these teams are beatable, and that includes Tennessee. I've seen nothing out of Missouri the last 2 weeks that I've watched them that makes me think, oh my gosh, they're unbeatable. We certainly know that Auburn is beatable. What are you seeing out of Ole Miss that makes you think, oh my gosh, they're unbeatable? They're playing nobodies, complete nobodies. They're not going to be battle tested. We know that Texas is not battle tested yet. They played one team that should have been a tough team to play. They just beat Arkansas State by 10, Michigan did. Texas hasn't played anybody yet. They're not playing anybody this week. And Mississippi State just lost to, who was it, Toledo this past weekend? A MAC team. So they go into the Red River game not having been tested yet. So I know that they became the number one team in the country according to the AP this week. Whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo. We gotta have you gotta have depth. I think so too. Bevo, profound Bevo. Yeah, I don't necessarily agree. Jackson's been sacked and pressured so much as anyone else blocking. He'll get better when he plays more. Coach him up. It's clear he's the most dangerous. Who are we talking about? He. I'd like to see some more of that. What's up, T Boomer? Good to see you. No, we haven't. You're right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that. That'd be great. I'm kind of wondering about Gentry, though. We hadn't seen much of him at all. That would be great, though. Yeah, Cole, I'm not really with you on this stuff. It has been. T Boomer. Jay is going to find himself in due time. Boomer. Thank you for the super chat, T. Appreciate you, buddy. Yeah, it is. Huh. There's other things that they can do with the running back situation. Bevo, you're not one for like knowing the game very much. So, sit that part out. Yeah. I know and I'm not shooting the messenger on it. I say it. I've said that a bunch. I'm not a fan of the way that he's handled his running back room. I haven't. And I'm not. Listen, I love DeMarco Murray as much as the next guy. DeMarco is one of the great Sooners of all time. He really is. But I would tell you that the way he handles that running back room, and I understand that you need to be a better pass blocker. And I think that Tatum has shown that he's getting better at that as well. But using that as an excuse to not get the best player in the game when it comes to, running the football it's inexcusable for me. Put him in at the slot for that matter. I don't care. You need to have a guy with his explosion in the game. Period. Going to be yeah, it will. Cowboy Ranch, thank you for the super chat. Tennessee coming to Norman and Utah coming to Stillwater. Going to be buzzing in Okie Town on Saturday. It's going to be a lot of fun. Also having a game crew there in Oklahoma as well. So here we go. All right, we have our guest coming in right now. Welcome into the show, Mike Bogonowski Sr. What's up, my man? How you doing? Oh, damn.
What's up, brother?
When
if you ain't 15 minutes early, you're late.
There you go. That's all good. I've been kind of holding on to all this and talking a little bit back and forth with some of these folks in here, and we hit the super chat. Bishop Frank, Sooners all in, Sooners never flinch. Back to the lab. What did you think about this weekend's game? The game against Tulane. We'll finish. We'll kind of break it down a little bit, and then we'll talk about the future, man. But we don't have to stay on it forever.
Yeah. I think I saw some good things. I saw some improvements. You know, the run game was a little bit better. A lot of that was due to some Jackson Arnold design quarterback runs, and I get it. That puts the defense in a a negative position, right? Because now we got our running backs. We got a hat on hat. So I get it. I think we heard BV say, or maybe it was Coach Latrell say that we didn't want to go into that bag that early. But you got to do what you got to do. Tulane was a good squad. I think there's still some issues up front that we got to get sorted out. I pray to God, Hickman comes back and alleviates those issues. I think we gotta stretch the field offensively. We gotta take shots. We've had, the whole talk leading up was we got speed, we got burners, we got, and I got it. We got guys out, but the whole talk leading up is we have depth. We got depth at, and especially receiver.
Sure.
I felt there could have been some shots, and we missed one. We missed one to Petaway right at the beginning of the third quarter, maybe, or toward the end. I can't remember. But yeah, I think overall better. And this is my last point, and I don't want to be too critical, but I don't think we are doing a good job of adjusting to the other team's adjustments coming out of halves. I think other teams are adjusting and changing up, and we're not doing a very good job of reacting or anticipating those adjustments, i.e., blitzes. Right, that third quarter, they come out and blitz the shit out of us.
Right,
we didn't do a very good job. And again, young offensive line.
Sure.
But
it's not a lot of. There's not a ton of.
Not a lot of gelling, right? There's not a lot of
because you don't have a lot of continuity there. You've been moving them around a ton.
Hey, somebody asked me the other day, like, who do you think our starting five should be at offensive line? And I was like, bro, I have to pay way more attention. I'm like, there's been so many pieces in and out. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I don't know if I could do it. Like, I got to pay better attention.
I agree. I just think it's, and it is tough. I think it's tough when you start. You've had some injuries, and they're shuffling around a lot. And if you're an Oklahoma fan, you've seen this over the last few years where they have not really gelled as an offensive line until third, fourth week, fifth week of the season, even. Once you get into that maybe Texas game or whatever is when they're generally more. But I do think a lot of it has to do with the fact that you've had some injuries this year that you weren't really planning on. And I think that there's some different thoughts about what that may be about when it comes to all this. But the truth is I still believe that this offense has gotten better from week to week. It has. I know week one looked how it looked. The fact is that that defense put them in a position where there wasn't much field to have to cover. So the yardage didn't look great, but they put up the points. You scored 40. In the end,
we left points on the table too.
They left some points on the table there too. I do agree that. But I also think that they took their foot off the gas there too. They could have scored 100 if they wanted to. If that was something that was important to Coach Venables, I think they could have done that. Because that's just the way that defense was playing, just lights out. And I think that's, again, I'll say this more, and I've said this already in this broadcast, but Oklahoma fans are struggling to understand what it looks like to not be led by your offense, to not be in a race to 50, because this is what it was here. This is what it's been here for a long time. Yeah. And at the very least, the last decade, and really probably a little longer than that. But the truth be told, you have to go ahead.
If you can get that race to 50 going along with this defense, hey man, watch out. Watch out.
Well, I don't know that you can play that way though, and have this defense be as effective as it is. I think that there's a level of that, and this as having played, but there's a level of that complimentary football that struggles when you are always in the hurry up mode, and sometimes that hurry up mode, like we saw that in the Houston game where you had some where you should have gotten off the field before halftime against Houston, and they didn't do it. 3 and out. It takes less than 30 seconds off the clock. Houston's able to go down and get some points before the end of the half. That there's some times that you want to see them be able to run the ball a little better, sustain some drives, not necessarily where you have to get points, but you sustain drives and keep your defense in a position to be the dominant force. And I think that's how it's going to be with Coach Venables.
And I think I always hear Coach Venables talk about the middle part of the game, right? What does he call it? The middle 16 or something like that.
Yep.
And I mean, we scored 34 points. I mean, we kicked the field goal down there where we should have got. Jackson Arnold got sacked. We should have had 6 there. And and there's other areas in there. And to be honest with you, I don't think mid 40s and high 50s is a stretch. Mid 40s, 50s is a stretch. I think it's very doable, and they're not really going that fast, and I still think it's easily attainable.
Sure.
Once we start, a little bit more effective, and I think we can see it, and I think it's right there. We're very close. This weekend is gonna tell a lot. Like whatever happens this Saturday is
yeah.
This is going to be
you're getting tested. You're going to get tested by a better offense than anything we've seen so far. No doubt about that. Because, but I'll also say that Tulane had a hell of an offense as well. I think that Tulane is a better team than Tennessee's played. I don't think that Tennessee's played a team that's as good as Tulane was, and I think quarterback-wise, Tulane was probably better at quarterback than you saw even at NC State.
That kid ain't gonna be there next year. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Oh,
Mensa ain't gonna be there next year, dude.
He went from third stringer to he went from
SEC or Florida State, one of the two.
My guess is he's gonna be at Mississippi State.
Oh yeah, there's that too. Yeah.
I'm going to say Mississippi
Yep.
State. They're going to be looking for him pretty hard there. No, he'll be somewhere other than Tulane more than likely. I agree. But I mean, you start talking about but as much as we'd like to see more out of this offense, here's the one thing, and where I feel like we're seeing some good things. Jackson definitely came out, played very good to start the game. They went 5 for 5 on their first 5 third downs. That's huge. Ended up 7 of 8 for the first half on third down conversions. That's been a big issue, right? That's moving the football. That's not allowing, their offense to get on the field and get in rhythm. That's what we want to see more of. And what I saw in doing that was he wasn't waiting for that receiver to get wide open anymore. He was throwing the ball ahead of time, and the receiver's turning, and the ball's there. So that's what you want to see, more anticipation, better anticipation from him. And I thought that was good. Get the ball out of his hands quickly. You better be doing that this week. You better be doing that this week.
And you talked about the third down conversions, and probably the best throw of the game was to Deion Burks over the middle, which would have been a third down conversion. And my man, sure-handed as he is, dropped it. And it probably could have been even better. That would have been a big play right there.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of these things that we've pushed off on Jackson, and we've expected, I think, too much out of Jackson in all things considered, with all the, yes, there's a lot of depth at receiver. And I was saying that as you were coming in, there's a ton of depth there, but you weren't expecting to have to depend on a bunch of freshmen to be the guy coming in, right? And when you have 5 of your top 6 not having played a game yet or played any time in any games, that's tough on a young quarterback. Not to mention the fact of what we talked about with the O-line. We could talk about the O-line stuff all day, and something that Bagman was saying here, is it too much to expect the O-line to not be, it's always patchwork and portal merry-go-round every year. This is the college football today. This is just how it is. Yeah, it doesn't have it. It's not, this is not a problem for the coaching. It's not because of something that they're not doing correctly. I don't think that's it. The problem with that is this is what we are in this era of college football, folks. It's just how it is. And as much as you'd like it to not be that way, the fact of the matter is that's how it goes.
It is what it is, man. You better fix it. You better gel. And, I hate to say it, but, they got to treat these dudes a little bit more like professional people. They're getting paid, man. Like, you're getting paid to come in and do a job, and you need to do it, or you're going to find yourself getting processed out. You know what I mean? In the portal again. So, I mean, these kids, these coaches, they know what it is, and they got to do better. They got to get after it, and lock in and concentrate, and put in the work. Leave nothing left to chance. You got to come in ready to go, and you get processed, man. That's the reality these days, man. You get processed, be right back in the portal.
Yeah. And you're talking about, okay, Billy, you say, I'm thinking about Baker's last line and Murray's first, that kind of good. That was before the portal, bud. That was before the portal. You guys are talking about things that are not in the stuff up here, talking about mercenary stuff. You had in that, starters don't leave. Well, one did. Caden Green, gone. You guys are talking about Caden Green. He's gone. And you could blame that on whoever you want to. It's not Oklahoma's fault that happened. They tried to pay him. And in fact, I think that they offered him more than they offered him at Mizzou. That was look, you can't, there's nothing you can do about some stuff. We can sit here and bash and complain and bitch and moan all you want to. Some things are just not something that you can do anything about. You have to suck it up and figure it out. And the idea that we're supposed to just come into this league and dominate it from day one it's crazy talk, first of all.
Yeah.
But I don't think that they're out of the running for anything. They still have everything in front of them. You can talk about how bad they've looked in certain times. There would have been at least a loss 2-3 years ago. Mm-hmm. At least one of those games would have been a loss.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Like, as bad as we want to, as bad as, we want to make it seem with this football team, we're right where we wanted to be at this part of the season. 3-0 coming into SEC. Right. Big game. Tennessee coming into Norman. Like
huge game. Huge game.
And I don't know if you want to move on to Tennessee or whatever, or put a bow on Tulane, because like I said, man, it's on to the next, man. We're 3-0. Like, can't look back, got to fix some deficiencies, but man, this game coming up, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to get down to Norman. Cannot wait.
It's gonna be a lot of fun, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and I think that somebody said in here, Tennessee fans are very cocky Thunder. They are.
Hey, listen, man. Hey, they got in. Hey, I sent out a little tweet, yesterday, and let me tell you something. I couldn't keep up, man. I had to just stop, man. The Tennessee fans, they was in their feelings, and I wasn't knocking anybody. I wasn't like I was dissing. I just said, hey, man, that Tennessee quarterback coming into Norman, he ain't played nobody like this, and everybody want to go back. He played against Iowa last year.
What?
We can talk about Iowa's defense. Every time they played somebody that was worth their weight in salt, they got 30 put on them and lost.
It's easy to talk about defenses in the Big Ten when there ain't no offenses in the damn Big Ten.
And, hey, not everybody sees it like that. And, I'm not throwing any shade, or Tennessee's good. Oklahoma don't have their stuff put together. They will kick our teeth in. Like, that's a fact.
That's right.
Yeah, if our O-line ain't straight, their defensive line will punish us. And that's the key to the game right there. That's one of the keys of the game. Can we hold up front, and can we stop them from rushing the ball? Can we stop that rushing attack?
There's no doubt about it.
They came at me.
Did they?
Yeah. Yeah, they came at me.
I got to tell you, I've been staying off of Twitter.
They're still coming at this morning.
I've been catching hell from them already too, but I hadn't been on Twitter because I hadn't been saying much on Twitter. I've been off of Twitter just because. Oh God! But I've been catching it on YouTube from from what was said on. And Tennessee fans are jumping on to videos. We haven't said shit about Tennessee yet, and they're coming in saying that you guys are so worried about Texas and you're so worried about Mizzou. Nobody's worried about either of those teams. We laugh at Texas and Mizzou, but I think as far as Oklahoma and Oklahoma fans are concerned, our full focus is on the Tennessee Volunteers right now. Full focus. Yeah. There's no two ways around it.
They're a complete football team, man.
They're a nice football team, man. They are.
There's one area that I want to see, and I want to, it's in question, and it's been mentioned before, but that defensive backfield, I want to see if there's any cohesion and continuity back there, and we need to test it, and we need to test it often. Yeah, it's good. That's one of the places I think that we need to try to exploit and see. It's going to be a tough game, man, and we got to hold up front in order to do that. But I think that's the one. If there's one, and I don't even know if it's a weakness yet, because we haven't really seen them get tested this year. I didn't watch any of the NC State game, but I know there was a little bit I watched of Tennessee Martin and whoever the Kent State. So I don't know if you really hold much stock in that. I got to go back and check out that NC State game. But yeah, I
didn't see much out of NC State.
Yeah.
And we didn't see much out of them the week before either, when they played a not Tennessee team. NC State, I was much higher on them coming into the season than what they've showed me. I think Clemson beats the hell out of them this week.
Yeah.
I do. I just don't see Clemson, because Clemson has a defense that's going to get after your ass. We saw that against Georgia. If they had anything going against Georgia on the offensive side of the ball, that game is pretty much similar, I think, to what happened last night or the other night against Kentucky. Georgia is struggling on offense right now for whatever reason. And I think that when you have a defense like that, that you can, I mean, not to get off of this and on to Georgia, but I think that that's not what you saw when you saw NC State. They had nothing for this offense at Tennessee, nothing. They didn't pressure him. Their secondary, like I said, we saw, and the one tweet that I put out there, we definitely saw, you know, they're showing, and this was from an OU guy, but this is, oh man, this is tough. And they're showing them in their last game, which is against a nobody, you know, and running free in the secondary, no pressure on Nico whatsoever. Yeah, he throws balls great from a clean pocket, and, you know, receivers that running wide, running free out there. You're not going to get that this week. That's not what you're going to get.
Yeah, agreed.
You know,
agreed.
And he's going to have seen things, and I know you probably know this, but I don't think that Oklahoma's offense or defense has shown anything that they're going to do in this game. That it's not on film. It's not on film for them to prepare for.
If there's one thing I do know, right, and I'm not going to go into specifics, but that is a fact. That is a fact. There is stuff that they have that is going to be new to
specifically for this game.
I think SEC play in general.
Yes.
There's stuff, and, you know, maybe, you know, I hope this is what it is. You know, I think BB's like, you know, one of those prize fighters right now. You know, he's just cruising through the first rounds of the fight. You know, I'm a Crawford fan. You know, I got to throw a little boxing analogy in there. But I think he's just cruising through the first initial rounds. And, you know, the back half of the fight, a.k.a. SEC, you know, time of the year, he's going to step it up and start showing them why he's Brett effing Venables.
Yeah. Look, I'm not worried about any of this. I think that this is a hell of a game. This is a game you should be nervous about no matter who you are, period. I don't care who the hell you are.
I was nervous last week. I was nervous going into
Tulane. Hey, look, you should be nervous. You play a good football team. You should be nervous about it. There should be some nerves from fans. I think that that's the case. And I think that when you've got a quarterback like this and receivers like this and a running game like this, it makes you nervous.
Heart rate was over 100 the whole game.
I'm
getting alerts. You're doing a great job. You're in the zone. I was like, man, I'm just standing here in the heat. Like,
yeah,
I was getting all the alerts.
And I think that this is a really good comment right here by Zofix. I know how OU's going to handle a tight fourth quarter game. How's Tennessee going to handle it?
Yeah.
That we don't know. And that's the thing. If you get into a tight game here, we know that Oklahoma in the past has lost a bunch of them. But when it's gotten tight in the last 2 weeks, they have not tightened up. They've played well at the times that you have to. The defense is stiffened up. And that's something we haven't been able to say in Norman for a long time.
Yeah.
That, you know, hey, you have an opportunity to stop somebody to win. That was never going to work out. So I've said this a bunch of times. Anytime you had an offense that sputtered at OU for the last decade, that was a loss. That was a loss because you're not going to win the race to 50 there. Games in the, you know, having one of those, you know, 16-13 games kind of deal, or, you know, we had the 16-4 or the 16-12 game the week before. That's a damn loss for every other time because you're not going to have held anybody to 12 points. Never. It just didn't.
You know, I think that, you know, that comment hits it on the head. Like that's valid. That is very valid, man. Like we've been in some tight games, you know. Tennessee ain't been in a game since, you know, halftime or probably the second quarter. So, you know,
yeah, we're going to find out what they're about to.
That is a real comment right there. And he hit the nail on the head, man. That is a very good job.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The line is 7.5, taking all bets straight up. The defense will be great this weekend. I mean, great. Offense is going to make progress. And that's all we have to. I said this last week. If you just see the offense get a little bit better from week to week, that they're going to be ready to rock and roll, and they'll be in position to get into the playoff.
Yeah,
they will. Yeah. If they get a little better each week, and this defense continues to play the way that it's been playing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you're going to be in the position to get into the playoff at the end of the season. I'm not saying they're going to win every game. I don't expect you to win every game. In fact, I don't think anybody goes undefeated this season except for maybe Ohio State. And if Oregon looks like it looked this past weekend instead of the last couple of weeks, then they're gonna have a shot in that game against Ohio State too. We hadn't really seen Ohio State look at its best. And again, Texas hasn't played anybody. Bevo, shut up. Shut up. God.
I'm not a Texas fan. Never
played anybody.
Never
you know
born
this.
that way.
I know this. They have not played anybody yet.
And you know what? I will give Texas credit. I think they did a great job up there in Ann Arbor. I did not see that game going like that. I think Michigan let them off the hook a little bit by not pounding the rock.
Not being very good at anything though right now. They just won a 10-point game against Arkansas State, man.
Yeah,
something ain't right in Ann Arbor.
Something ain't right. Yeah, they got to pound the rock, man, and pound the rock. Like that's what they do. Pound the rock and play D. They got that's trying to pass the ball all the time, and that dude doesn't look like a very confident passer in my mind. But yeah, we'll see. That's coming up, man. Coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be down there. I'll be down in Dallas. I can't wait for that one too, man. I'm looking forward to that.
TriStar from Tennessee. Thanks for the super chat. Tennessee versus Oklahoma. SEC versus Old Big 8. Yeah. Yep. It's going to be fun. And now being in the SEC and getting to play them at least for the first 2 years, we're going to get a home and home with you. And then after that, it'll be at least every other year. So I don't know how they're going to end up working out all this when they go to the 9-game SEC schedule, but I like the idea of playing Tennessee a lot. I like it. I think that it's probably looking more like that every year is to me, it's either going to be LSU or Florida as far as that third. And for whatever reason, they want it to be Missouri because of the old Big 8 stuff there as well. But I know Oklahoma fans could give a shit about that. Most of us.
I'm okay with that, though.
Yeah, I'm all right with it too. Yeah, well, you got to have some easy ones every once in a while.
Yeah. Well, I want to.
I know. I'm just busting chops right now.
I want to put it. I want to go into Columbia. I look forward to that game too, and I want to start beating the brakes off people, and that way they can stop with all this rivalry talk, because I don't know how you guys define rivalries, but we go in there and beat the brakes off them consistently.
Yeah. One thing we need to do is Dusty D. He doesn't have to talk shit about Oklahoma the whole game. Yeah, Dusty. Oh, you're Dusty Dvorak. We have to do what?
See, I watched the game, but I didn't have the volume up because I was listening to Eichert and Lehman when I was watching it. So I maybe I might have to go back and rewatch. I don't know.
I didn't really hear anything that he said ugly about him. I don't really think that I think that Sooner fans most of us are a little sensitive about anything that other Sooner fans or former Sooners say. They've been pissed off at Gerald McCoy all weekend.
Yeah.
But Gerald is being a bit of a hater, though. So it is what it is,
Yeah.
It's fine, man.
Yeah, I like Gerald.
I think him too, but he's a little wild.
I think he is really brash, and he says what he thinks, and I respect that. Sometimes I wish I could say what I wanted to and how I want to say it. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I can't be unfiltered out here in these streets. But
yeah, I don't think that Dusty said anything bad.
Yeah,
100% in the red zone still. Mm-hmm. Look, somebody said up here above, and I think I put it up here, but maybe not. Tennessee on the road, favored and confident. Smells like a recipe for disaster. I think it does too. Now, I think that, again, you need to see OU come in and do a better job themselves on the offensive side. You're going to have to move the football. You're going to have to score some points. If you can do that, then yes, it's a recipe for disaster, because I know that they're not going to come in and put up a bunch of points like that, like they did on everybody else. You know, those better be glad you got in them 70s for the first few games, fellas, because that shit ain't gonna happen no more. Not against this football team. So
He got blocked and unblocked by Gerald McCoy.
did you? Oh yeah, you've been blocked by him a few times. Benji says he's a
That's
Texas
funny.
fan. It's one of our resident Texas fans,
That's
but
funny.
he's always here, so we don't mind him so much.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Bro, hey, that'd be
It would be
that'd
fun.
be pretty cool.
It would be. I would like that. Yeah, and because Gerald won't be that guy that just sits up there and loves on OU for sure. He won't
Yeah.
be, because he hasn't been, and he is brash, and he's going to say what he wants to say, and I have no problem with that. When they've been through the trenches like that and battled and stuff, what are you going to
Well,
say?
hey,
Let them talk. Let
he
them
loves
talk.
his alma mater. He loves
Yes,
his
he
alma
does.
mater, and I'm not mad at him, dude. Like, let me tell you something, man. The way New Mexico State's playing right now, bro. Oh my God, I'd love to just be super hypercritical and just, but ain't nobody listening to that. You know, they don't have a big fan base like Oklahoma. But yeah, man, there's geez Louise. I feel McCoy. I feel him.
You'd rather watch OU play Nebraska than Tennessee? Why is that, TriStar? Because you worried about it or what? The old are we talking about now? We're talking about realignment. Is that where you're headed with that, TriStar? Thanks for the super chat. We appreciate it.
I mean, I think there's more. I think there's more history in that Nebraska OU,
No doubt.
which I get it from that standpoint. I would love for Oklahoma to play Nebraska.
Me too. I think they should. I think that should. I think that they
love
need to be playing them. They need to be playing Okie Light. That should be those two games right there. At the very least, every other year should be being played.
Yeah.
Now, Okie Light's not. They're not going to have it. They're not going to do it because they don't want to. But as long as Mike Gundy's there, he's good. He doesn't want his record to get worse, and it's bad against Oklahoma. So that's not going to happen. I think that Nebraska is fine with playing Oklahoma as often as they can. I think that they are. There's a lot of mutual respect there between those two fan bases. Even you don't see a ton of that shit talk going on between Nebraska fans and Oklahoma fans. You just don't see it.
Yeah.
Not the same way.
I agree.
He was just basically saying that one of the tweets that I saw, he was just trashing on the offense a lot and saying that they can't be playing like this and expect to win. And I mean, he ended up blocking some people on that one too because they were coming back at him pretty hard. Yeah, you want to see the old Southwest Conference in Big 8. Yeah, that's not going to happen. But and I get what you're talking about, but that bell is not getting unrung. No. Not getting unrung. No. Let's see. Definitely need Okie Light, Nebraska every year. I think one of the two for sure. I think at least one of the two every year, and they can make that happen. You know, they can make that happen. Now,
I think that's very doable.
It is, and even with Okie Light, I think that there's a positive. I mean, again, I don't know that that's going to happen because to hear Gundy tell it, they're booked up for the next 15 years, but which we know is bullshit.
Yeah, you can cancel. Look at Wake Forest just cancel. Like that, we know that stuff.
USC, hey, they cancel any SEC game they can.
Come on, man. Come on, bro. Go on.
Yeah, but Gerald does want perfection on game day. I think that has a lot to do with it. Yeah.
So what are you thinking about? This Tennessee game, man. What are your thoughts, man? I don't know if I missed it earlier, but yeah, what are you thinking, man?
My thoughts on Tennessee is I love their offense. I like their front seven. I like their front seven on the defensive side of the ball too, but I'm not sure what I think as far as the back end of they're young. They've got some guys with talent, but I think that if we have Nick Anderson back this weekend, along with Deion Burks, I think that we're going to test that secondary in ways that they haven't been tested yet.
Yeah.
Because people were talking about the deep ball here, and of course it's the Texas guy. Yeah. Bevo, you're going to talk about us as similar to Michigan. You got to go. All right. But I believe that right now you're looking at a situation where you can test them in that secondary, and I think that that's going to be big. The other thing I think that you have an advantage in is the fact that this defense, it's stopping the run. That's something that they're a run first team. People don't realize that they are a run first football team. In fact, they have more yardage out of their running game than they do out of their passing game. So, and that's early in the season, obviously, but if Oklahoma can stop the run and make Nico have to beat them, I think you got a good chance at winning, because I think that Nico's going to see some things again. I know he's going to see some things that it's not on film. It's not on film from this team. So yeah. I think that you have to do a great job of stopping the run first and be able to rely on that defense to do its thing in the secondary as well. But I think that you're going to be able to do that because you're going to put pressure on them. I think that you're going to see some blitzes drawn up that we hadn't really seen a lot of blitzing. I would think it's more, there's just their normal pass rush at times. You've seen certain blitzes here and there, but it hadn't been much. And I think you're going to see a shit ton of them this week.
Yep.
That's just my thoughts.
Yeah, I tend to agree. It's going to be
Coach Sean, what's up, man? Good to see you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good game. There's somebody said in here, Tennessee fans are really cocky right now. They are. They're talking a lot of trash, man. They were on. I had one guy telling me, "You don't know ball nothing if you're thinking that there's a chance that y'all win. I'll take $1,500 and give 14 to anybody." I was like, put that money in the damn, put it in my freaking Cash App, and it's a bet. Because anybody can just make a bet and talk that shit. And I'm not even guaranteeing an Oklahoma win here. I'm not. I think Oklahoma can win.
Yeah.
We have to see them do it. But I've said this long before the year started, that the more I looked at this, I was more concerned about Tennessee than Missouri or Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried about the Oklahoma home games more than I am a couple of their road games.
Yeah, I think Tennessee fans are overlooking the fact that this game is in Norman, and they're not just going to come into Norman and blow us out like that. That ain't.
Don't have to.
Listen, that ain't happening. That ain't happening. It's that you think you're just going to come in here and dog walk us and win by 30 like that? Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah,
that ain't happening.
Yeah, that's what they think a lot. That's what a lot of them think.
Yeah.
Does OU have to score on defense to win this game? I don't think they have to. No.
It would help. It would help.
It wouldn't hurt anybody. It wouldn't hurt anything. It wouldn't hurt anything. But I don't think it's something that you have to do. I think you could, and I think that this is something that OU tries to do every week.
Yeah.
This is a turn it over team. They're going to force turnovers.
We just missed a couple last game.
Mm-hmm.
Kanai had one right in front of us, jumped a route, and it was just a little high. And I thought when R. Mason got that strip sack, I thought he was going to pick that up and get to the house, but that O lineman tripped him up, got him around his ankles. But yeah, I thought we had two right there. We had two really good shots at a pick six and a big man touchdown.
Vol fan here. You will need to have a very strong, explosive offensive line to establish the run. If you can't do that, we'll run away with the game. You're not running away with shit, Chip. You're not running away with shit. Because I can tell you're not going to run the ball very well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be, let me tell you something, man. This is going to be a hell of a game. This is going to be a hell of a game up front. I cannot wait.
Coach Sean, he's one of my boys. We do a lot of work together with him, and he's an Alabama guy. Says, I need you guys to put belt to ass on them Vols, please.
Yeah.
That's his saying, belt to ass.
Yeah.
I hope they do.
I think they always know what's coming. I think the Sooners, they know what it is, and they've been working, not overlooking everybody getting to this point. But they've had that circled on the calendar and working to get to a certain level of play in anticipation for this game. And I'm feeling pretty confident we can go out there and they can go out there and play a good football game and make this very interesting. Very interesting.
I think it's gonna be a good game.
Yeah.
I think that, and yeah, I hope you do come back. I hope you do come back. We'll have a post game for sure. And I'm just telling you, you're not running away with it. I'm not guaranteeing victories or anything like that. I'm not that guy. But I can tell you that this defense is going to be you. Kent State doesn't do anything like what Oklahoma does on defense. They just don't have the guys. So it is what it is.
And when I retweeted that On Three, thing about the quarterbacks, that's all I was saying. You know what I mean? Like I was just, hey man, he's good, he's really good, but he hadn't had that competition yet, like he about to get on Saturday.
Hey man, I like Nico.
I think ran with it.
Yeah, well, that's all right. That's what they do. That's what Tennessee fans do. I've seen it since last year. I've seen it over the last few years. When they beat Alabama a couple of years ago, and oh man, I've never seen so much craziness on Twitter as I saw from Tennessee fans after that week. And it was going on until they got that ass kicked when they went to South Carolina, or actually the Georgia loss as well. Okay, Chris says, OU by 10 at least. Not a boy, okay, Chris. B2A. Bring it. We hope so. Is there any relevant film for Tennessee to study? OU will have a very different offense from the first 3 games. I don't think they understand that. Yeah, I don't think that there's a ton of film that I think there's certain things that you're probably going to look at. And I think that, look, I'm not telling you that I think that Oklahoma is just going to run away with this thing either, because I don't. But I do think that, I think they've been a little vanilla on offense, probably more so than I think they should have been. Yeah. I think they've been holding Nick out maybe a little long. If he's really ready to go, then I don't know why they've been holding him out. I really don't. Because I don't think that you could just expect him to come in and just be who he is without having any game time in the first 3 weeks. It could change. It could change things.
I'm worried about that.
I'm concerned about it too. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm worried. Like Hickman, for instance, I'm not so worried about Hickman, right? I'm not so worried about Hickman in the middle coming back and hopping right back in the saddle. There's timing. Feel, spatial awareness, getting your hands, accustomed to that game speed ball and just getting comfortable as a receiver. I think that there's that's going to have to, Nick's going to have to adjust too quick. And maybe he's like that, maybe he's like that. Maybe he can just come out there and just pick up right where he left off last year. By God, I hope that's the case. But, maybe that's what the coaches think. And, but we got to do our best to get him in the groove and in the flow of the game early. If he does play, God, I hope he plays. My prayer, we need the prayer warriors out there. Let's get him out there.
He needs to play. He was in uniform last weekend.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, they didn't put him in the game. Put him in. He needs to play. And if they were holding him out for this game, then fine. He needs to play. Because I think that for sure what you get out of him, and I think that'll allow you. We really have not seen. We haven't seen the same kind of routes that we saw in the spring game from Deion Burks. He hasn't run one yet. No. I'd love to see him up the seam.
God, it has to happen, man. Even if you don't hit on him, even if you don't hit on them, you have to make it a threat. You have to make them cover every blade of grass. Like that has to, is if you just stack in the box and I think you saw a lot of that from Tulane. They were box heavy and kind of manning up out there, and that makes you got to be able to hit, man. If they're up there stacking the box, and you got to be able to make them pay. Got to be able to make them pay. What freshman receiver has a breakout game this week?
There's a few that could. I think Petaway, they almost, if he'd have hit him on that play deep. I think Jacquez Petaway's been waiting to have a breakout, but I don't think he's really a freshman at this point. So I don't know. Zion Reagans has looked good at times. I think that that'll be better when you've got some big guys on the outside that they're not focused on Zion. But you talk about speed, that kid has got it. And he's one of those pound for pound type of kids. He really is. He's just a ball player. But I don't love depending on anybody as a freshman to come in and like kill it as a receiver on the. I mean, if they can do it, great. If not, whatever. But I just want to see more Taylor Tatum. If I have any complaints about this offense, it's that I don't think DeMarco is running that running back room. I hate the way that they do it. I don't love the rotation there. I get it that he's not the best pass blocker that they have. I don't care. He's the most explosive player there. Put him in the game. And put him in the slot, for God's sakes. I don't care. Do something with him.
I hope they're keeping this in their back pocket, but man, I would love to see them bust a couple screens. You know, their defensive lineman's going to have their ears pinned back, and they're going to be wanting to get out the quarterback. And, you know, let's just invite them upfield a little bit and drop it over their heads. Like, it's just please, maybe even a draw. Can I get a draw?
Yes,
Can I get a screen? Like, please, God, just Lord, help me.
This is what we've been asking for. A little counter action. Come on, baby.
We have to slow them down. And that's how you do it. You know, swing passes, screens. Like, please.
I agree.
Please, I'm begging you. And I hope they're just holding it and like, you know what I mean? I hope they're just holding it. Like I just want show me a screen. Show me a middle screen, a receiver screen. Like I want to see offensive linemen out front of somebody blocking people, pancaking, and get our guys in space.
Yeah, slightly concerned about Anderson and Anthony not having those in the game for reps and conditioning so far. Yeah, I have been too. That's what I've been saying. I felt like you should have probably played. If Nick could play this, if he was able to play and he was suited up, I think he should have had some time. You know, at least a little bit. But that's just, hey, listen, man, who am I to say? I don't know what's going on there. But if Rodney was saying he's good to go, then
he said that.
Yeah, Rodney said he was good to go.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Wow.
That's what I heard. And I think
I'm worried about Anthony too.
I'm worried about Andrew too. I kind of wonder if that isn't more mental with him though, and maybe he just wasn't ready yet.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on, but I don't know, man. I think if he's not ready, man, I think you know maybe try to get him in the last 4 games of the year and shut him down. Maybe get him. Keep him for next year. You know, maybe just a little confidence builder toward the end of the year. Get him in and get him his 4 games and shut him down so he comes back next year and, you know, 100% confident. But I mean, if he's not confident, like it's hard to play.
That's what was wrong with we saw that last season when you start talking about running backs. You had some issues with the confidence in the running back room. A lot of it.
Yeah.
And if you're still hurt, you're still hurt. And that's the other thing. If Andrew's not ready to come back, don't put him back in. I'd love to have him in there because of his speed. Yeah. But I don't think that you can afford to play a guy that isn't going to go out there and give it 100% and, you know, be able to make the moves. But we're talking, but he's also a veteran kid. I don't think he's going to push himself back a little early either. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't have any information about that. It makes me wonder, but I think we gotta have Nick back. He's one of the leaders of that team. He's one of the leaders of that offense. So
I think him out on the field has a mental and a confidence effect to our offense and Jackson Arnold. And, you know, not just from a production standpoint, you know, they know he's going to produce. I think mentally it helps our offense. And I just think that, you know, him being out there is, you know, more than just a production aspect. Like it's a mental and a morale type issue with them. And, you know, his impact like is just beyond the playing field. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I think that we see another offense this week, and it's going to be one of those unheard of guys that shows out Could be. I could see that happening. If we're talking about freshmen and stuff like that sooner, Brandon, and I'll go back to your last question. I'd say, to me, I like it to be Zion Kearney, because that kid's got some size on him. He's got some speed on him. That's somebody that Coach Sean, actually, that's been in here talking a little bit, has talked a lot about. He was like, he expects a lot out of him. I know that's somebody that Alabama had also recruited.
Yeah.
And Zion Kearney's a stud, man, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I think I want to see the big 6'6" kid. I want to see him. And he's not going to blow the doors off people, but
carry on. As far as the speed's concerned, no, but he's going to catch those 50-50 balls.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, he's big, he's physical. He can toss those DBs around a little bit, create separation, and get you positive plays and easy throws. And I just big receivers, man. I love them. I think they're so hard to defend, because even if you're in good position, as a defender, like, they can just negate that just by size and putting the ball up to where nobody else can get it, or box you out and keep you off the ball and reach and grab it. I just think there's and like, you get a big guy like that with a little bit of speed, and I mean, look at Mike Evans in the NFL. Like, dude, just give him the ball up high. Like, there's nobody's contesting him with that. And I think it's the same. I think you could be similar things with carry on. Like, get him the ball, get it up high. Like, I think he's just a mismatch.
I think he is too. And that's why we're talking about Nick so much too. We're talking about a guy that's 6'4" and plays big. He plays bigger than 6'4" even. He just, man. When you think back to Rodney, man, what kind of a running back he was just that dude. The guy, if it wasn't for his injuries, he'd still be in the NFL.
Yeah.
Because Rodney was a dude, straight up. And that's the way that Nick plays. He's a big playmaker. Think about it. He had 37 catches last season, 37, almost 9. He was 898 he had 898, almost 900 yards and 10 touchdowns. I mean, he is 10 touchdowns. We haven't had a receiver with 10 touchdowns in forever.
That's like, what do you say, 30-some receptions? It's almost like 1 every 3 receptions is a touchdown. Yeah. Come on,
man. Since CD was here, I don't think we've had a receiver with 10 touchdowns since CD landed.
That's ridiculous.
To only do it on 37, that tells you he's a big play guy.
Yeah.
His only catch in the Red River was the touchdown.
Yeah.
But big plays, right? You had a lot of guys step up in the Red River for Oklahoma, though.
Yeah.
And again, you're missing that guy that's that, Drake Stoops he wasn't the guy that was going to burn you deep and stuff like that, but he was that dude that was going to make every catch on that from the slot. He kind of just reminds you of Julian Edelman type of guy.
Yeah, he's going to go out there in the middle of the field, just trolling it, just in there handling his business,
getting the dirty work plays, and that's what you have to do. Chip Vandalia says, "What do you think the overall defensive game plan is for Oklahoma? Same about the offense. What's going to be their biggest strength and what's going to be their biggest vulnerability?" I think vulnerability-wise on the offensive side, I'd say we got to run the ball better and protect Jackson a little better. But as far as defensively, I don't know. I to be honest with you, I think maybe that they haven't been great at stopping like those mid-range passes. You're not beating them deep. They're keeping everything in front of them. But I think if I had something to pick on against this defense, and there's not much to pick on, it would probably be that.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him play a little closer to the guys on the front end of it, at the corners and stuff. But that's just me.
I think if I'm going to touch on the overall defensive game plan, and I think it's very simple. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to stop the run. We got to stop the run and try to trick the young quarterback. Try to trick young quarterback into coverages, and and I think that's we got to make him beat us through the air, and I think that's where BV is going to show some new stuff, and try to trick him and get him turn the ball over a couple times. But we got to stop the run, number one. Have to stop the run, number one.
Got to do it. I think if you stop the run, then that sets you up. You need to make them. you got to make them a little bit one-dimensional. If you're stopping the run and you're going to put that on Nico to win it, I think you have a really good chance to win, because I think that they're going to hassle the hell out of him.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to hassle him. They're going to try to get him off timing a little bit. Even if you don't get home all the time, you want him to have to throw out a timing.
You got to make that mental clock speed up with them quarterbacks. And hey, I'd be remiss if I did not mention our Mason Thomas.
Oh, buddy.
Good
We did need to bring up our Mason. Yes, absolutely.
Dude, he took over. And I haven't seen – he had a hit. He was the whole series that one. Sacked the guy, had a pass breakup, and sacked him again. Punt. Like, dude. And then comes out and gets a strip sack, I think, the next series. Come on, man.
Yeah, he had 3 sacks, 3 tackles, 3 sacks. They were all sacks. And he had that pass breakup. Dude, our Mason.
Dude, I need that, bro. I need that all the time.
This is what they've been waiting on. We've been waiting on this from our Mason for 3 years, man. This is his 3rd year here. We've been waiting on it since he showed up. It's the guy that and I mean, you're up close with him, and you see that dude looks like that guy. And we just haven't seen it out of him yet because of injuries, a lot of it.
Hey, as a former defensive end, dude, I was so hyped. I was so hyped in the stands. Like that, man, that was amazing. It really was amazing. And that dude balled, and I hope that just was a harbinger of what's to come. Like that dude, I seen it now. Now I expect it. Like I seen it, and I need that. I need that.
Right.
That was big time, dude.
I think everybody needs that. You know, it's the same thing that we think about PJ. It's like you're just waiting on it to show up, right? Out of PJ Adebawore.
Yeah.
You're waiting on that. But you've seen so much out of this defensive line is impressive.
Hey, Caden Willard was close a couple times.
Yeah.
A couple times. He was close a couple times. Even Downs had a good hit on the quarterback. They're getting close, man, and they're improving.
They're definitely speeding up the clock, though, and that's when you force turnovers. When you get them out of their rhythm, and you have to make them make decisions faster than they want to make them.
Yeah,
and that's when, especially with freshmen, that's when you're able to get them to make bad decisions, and that's what we want. And that's how Oklahoma is going to win championships, is because of the defensive side. The offense is going to come along. I've said this 1,000 times. I'm going to say it one more time for everybody. I'm not worried about the offense. They'll be fine. Are they what we want them to be today? No, they'll be fine. Jackson Arnold is not some chump. He's not some bum off the, that we just pulled out of nowhere. He's a dude.
Yeah,
the people that are on Jackson Arnold need to back the fuck up off of Jackson Arnold. He will be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, he showed some athletic, he showed his improvisational skills on that bad snap, scrambled, outran the dude, got around the edge. Like, not too many dudes making that play.
That touchdown at the end, after the Billy Bowman interception, that was another 3rd down, and he made the decision to go, took a hit on it. The first touchdown run, there was a bad snap.
Yep.
And he goes in on that one too. That's really how you get him going, is to let him run a little bit. Let him go. Let him go. Let him do what he wants to do.
Yeah. And, we're next week, I don't know what's going on with our cheetah, Kendall Dolby, but I hope he's, him coming back. If he plays next week, that's a big boost, man, because that dude can cover, and that dude can come. He comes off the edge, and he is a major piece of this defense. And getting him back next week, hopefully, again, prayers, soliciting prayer warriors. But yeah, getting him back next week is going to be a major help too, because that dude can play some ball. He may be a little undersized, but that dude can play ball. He played like he's 6'2", 210. You know what I mean? He plays bigger than he is, and I really like me some Kendall Dolby. That dude can
love
play.
Kendall Dolby, dude. The Kendall Dolby's been a dog since he got here. T Boomer, thank you for the super chat. Do you think the coaches panicked because we had so many injuries? I do not. No. I don't see panic in these guys, man.
No,
I haven't seen them panic about shit yet. So I don't. Look, here's the other thing I think people need to understand. somebody said that you think he's maybe talking to Bob about tendencies. Why would he have to? Coach Venables was here when Josh was the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
He was here. He knows.
Well, they got that tape.
They know
got that
him.
tape.
They know him. Tape. And and listen, I'm not saying you don't talk to Bob about this or that, whatever. I don't know how much they talk. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, they're fine.
Yep.
They're fine. And I look at this the same way that I kind of look at, Bill Belichick against a rookie quarterback. It's not good for the rookie quarterback. And I think that a freshman quarterback coming up against this defense with the talent that it has, he's going to make it hard on him. I think he's going to make it hard on him.
Yeah.
But I think that as far as the defense is concerned, I really don't worry that much. I think that what you obviously have to worry about and where you're vulnerable at would probably be on the O-line right now. As far as the offense is concerned, that's your vulnerability there.
Yeah, McCullough. Yeah, I heard about McCullough. I don't. That's a good.
Deshaun McCullough coming back. I've been hearing that. Too. That there's a possibility he'll be back. And there's another guy that gets in the backfield a lot.
I mean,
it would be great if he was back.
Yeah, I would love for him to come back, but I want to make sure he's right. I don't know what he's got going on with his foot, but I know he's in a boot. And man, that dude is. I like McCullough, man. He's big. He wants to punish you, man. Like I watched him in the spring a couple times, and when he's got a chance to hit you, man, he's gonna hit you. And I like that physicalness about him. Long,
no doubt.
Man, dude. He's
the goal line stand against Texas. He was in on every play.
Dude,
all of them.
Man. Yeah, he's good. We need him back. And man, listen, like if you look at the totality of this Oklahoma Sooners football team with injuries, key people, key positions, having to adjust, bringing in the next guy up, and how we're playing, especially on the defensive end, like the coaching staff doesn't get enough credit. I mean, dude, a lot of other teams are crumbling. A lot of other teams are 1-2 at this point with the same schedule, same circumstances. I don't think they get enough. I think people are harping on the coaches too much about the offensive struggles or what have you, but nobody's talking about this. Nobody's talking about how they kept this team together. Nobody's talking about this defense, playing some great football despite injuries. It's just it doesn't get talked about enough, and I see it. But like when you miss guys like Deshaun McCullough and like, dude, they're big time, man. And we missed Dolby last game, but you got the young pup Omasigo come out there and ball, bro. He looks huge out there.
I love
like
Samuel.
The dude is jacked.
Dude.
Man, he looks huge out there, and I've seen him manhandle a couple people.
Stud athlete, right? Stud athlete.
He's gonna be good. He's gonna, dude. The future is bright. It's like we're playing good ball right now, but when I just think about, who we got and some of the depth and the youngsters, man, future's bright, man. The future's bright, and these coaches are doing a great job, keeping it together and keeping the outside noise at bay, And a lot of there's a lot of some of our players too, the leadership of the players, BV or Stutzman and Bowman and those senior guys, like they're doing a great job of keeping the crap out and keeping us focused.
Well, and Danny's calling out what's going on before it happens. He knows what's happening. He's always in on every play. He had 12 tackles last week, 15 the week before that, dude. Danny Stutzman is playing out of his damn mind.
Give him All-American right now.
Just hand it to him because he is playing out of his damn mind. Billy Bowman is playing out of his mind at times too. There's things that we'd like to see him clean up a little bit as well. But I'll tell you another guy, RSJ looked unfucking believable last weekend.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And he really hasn't looked bad yet, aside from getting burned on that one touchdown, that it was because he didn't get the right call.
Yeah.
That was when you had that interference. You had that interference that got called The fans were booing it because it was shit. And he didn't hear Billy making the call or the play call, so he missed the assignment.
Yeah.
But
Even
aside from that,
that pass interference last game,
yeah,
he came through the back, was a little early, but the
they were
dude
hand fighting though the whole way. I didn't love the
the
call.
ball was, he's got to be 12 foot tall to catch it. Like I'm just not a big fan of getting bailed out on a bad throw. That drives me absolutely insane.
Yeah, I agree.
It drives me insane.
Yeah,
drives me insane.
Kanik played well last game, and the linebackers, you can't say enough about all of them, because Kip was a little banged up in the last couple of weeks too. You got Kobe McKenzie got his first start last week at linebacker. You didn't see a drop off. They're playing really, really well. Samuel Omosigo going in there and playing the way he did. Again, they're 3 deep everywhere. We're as much as we expected to kind of see more of Mike, and we hadn't seen a ton of him in the last the last couple of weeks, because the fact that the starters are playing and playing well. And I mean, we get it, but I think you're going to get.
I think the games are a little too close. The two. I like that. I want to touch on that, Chicken. Have they update the PFF grades for week 3 yet? Is he still the highest graded safety, or is that still from the last 2 weeks?
I don't know. We can look at it, but
I know for sure he was number 1 after the first 2 weeks. But yeah, going back to Mike, I think Tulane does a hell of a job at running those deep and those undercutting routes and those crossing routes. And it's hard to defend. And I think it's scared. I don't want to say scared the hell of it, but there was something that they worried about. And, they had a little bit of success even with our ones in there. So, I mean, it was pretty much RSJ and Billy the whole game. I think there was maybe a series or two even with Peyton. And I don't know why that was, but I have my own assumptions. I just think that they felt most confident with those two in there defending those crossers and those deep digs, that they had a lot of success in the first 2 weeks of the season. I think our linebackers probably had to get in better depth and in some of those throwing lanes, because there was a couple that the ball was just over the top of them. And I'm telling you, that Mensa kid's pretty good, man. He put the ball out there and
he's a good player, dude. He's a good. There's a reason why they started him. There's a reason why they started his us. Let's see. He said
that dude is making money every game. These boys just.
Yeah, he's still the highest rated safety.
That's legit, still man.
The highest rated safety.
That's
so
legit.
It's definitely updated by now. Yeah. And look, he was great last week. That's what I was looking at. I was looking at what
their D line. Their D line is they got probably that they got a defensive end that's probably going to be a first
number one,
maybe top 10.
He might be. He may be a number 1 pick. They've talked about him as the number 1 pick. Go ahead. Sorry.
He's up there, man. He's really good. He's really good. Turning linebackers on their defensive unit. And I like we mentioned earlier when we were talking, I think their one vulnerability may be the defensive back. I don't know how much they've been tested. I'm pretty sure that they went heavy in the transfer portal for those D backs and brought some guys in there. But again, I don't know how much they've been tested, and I think that's an area where the Oklahoma Sooners need to test them early and often.
Neilio says, "Good morning, Jason, Big Mike. One crazy game over your way this past weekend. Did the KSU ball game on Friday cause any issues?" Yeah. That game looked really good.
Man, that caused all kind of problems here in Kansas. Hey, listen, they were changing games, moving games, the JV games, the freshman games, and it was God. I was super annoyed. So here's what it was, real quick, right? So games were high school games are on Fridays, obviously. So both KSU and KU were on Friday. So they bumped the varsity games back to Thursday night. Okay, fine. Didn't really cause an issue with me. But what they did is they took the JV game that was the next Monday, moved it back to Saturday, right? So I got a fifth grader playing at 8:30. I got my middle son Marcus playing at 11, supposed to be playing at 11 in Lawrence, and a 2:30 game in Norman. So me and the wife were about to do split ops, right? Where one was going here, one was going there.
Yeah.
Well, late Friday night, all of a sudden the game's canceled. They didn't have enough kids to play because of the game against Lawrence. You know, they played a lot of the JV kids, and guys were cramping, and a lot of people that weren't expected to play played. So then they canceled it, and I had to scramble. Shout out Miss Lossman for hooking it up with an extra ticket for my wife so she could come.
Nice.
But yeah, the change of plans, man. It was just one big reaction, just constantly. But yeah, a little bit of confusion, and I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah, no doubt. It's but what a game! What a game for K-State, man. They beat the hell out of.
I didn't see.
Arizona.
I thought it was going to be a good game. And I'm going to tell you what, man. That
beat that ass.
McMillan is the real deal, bro.
He
is so good.
But they locked him down. They didn't do much with him.
Not in the second half. Second half, he didn't do much. And I think you're starting to see Avery Johnson a little bit, man. Like he's getting more comfortable.
Yeah.
He's got another gear now.
I like that kid, man.
Goes, dude. He goes, and I think you're starting to see him a little bit more.
He's got some moxie, right? He's got some moxie, and I like that about him. He just plays different.
My boy DJ Giddens, their running back, he's not getting enough, man. That dude's toting that pill now. You know, he's got to get a little bit more pub nationally, if you ask me. Like
he had a hell of a game the other night too, and they talking about and I'd put up that deal talking to Fitzy about it, but when they got that kick return for a touchdown, huge, but Giddens has been doing it game after game and really just kind of carrying them. But I'm with you. I like Avery a lot. I think Avery Johnson he's that dude, man. He could throw it well, but he's not afraid to take off, and he makes them dangerous, man. He does. He makes them dangerous. And their receivers are a little I think that they're a little undervalued at the receiver as well. I like K-State, man. I like K-State.
Yeah, they look good. They look good, man. They look good. I thought that dude. I thought Fafita and McMillan were going to be, a little bit. They were going to do a little bit better, and I thought it was going to be a little bit of a closer game. But I mean, that game really wasn't close. It was. K-State looks good, man.
They do, man. They should. I've been saying that they were going to win the Big 12, but I saw a lot of it, and looking ahead at this week, Okie Light, and Capo Ranch said something about it early on in the show. They're bringing in Utah. We're going to find out something about both football teams coming up because, that tune up with Tulsa last week. I mean, that made Bowman look a lot better than I think he is, Alan Bowman, and they're not going to get to throw. They're going to have to win running the football against Utah. That's what's going to have to happen. And they're not going to.
What's up with the Utah quarterback? I heard some stuff, but I
hadn't seen anything.
I gotta look deeper into it. Like I heard something about an infection in his hand or something. And is he out? Like, did he even play last week?
I don't know. I didn't see where he was out.
Maybe it was just somebody trolling or something. But on the thing on
they've been trolling a lot on him because of the fact of just kind of the way he's been there forever,
Yeah, him and Bowman, both of them cats, man.
Yeah, same. Yeah, and Bowman's trash. at least Cam has been like that dude. Let's see. I'm looking at the box score here. Yeah, he didn't play. He didn't play last week. It was Isaac Wilson started and played the whole game. He went 20 for 33, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Good.
So maybe he's pretty good. I don't know who Isaac Wilson is. I hadn't seen much of him. Is he? So he is. Let's see. It looks like he's a freshman, true freshman. Ooh. 6-footer. I don't know who it is. Is that Zach Wilson's brother? It is Zach Wilson's brother. Oh, he's like the heir apparent.
Really? He want to go to BYU, huh?
I think they wanted him at BYU, but I don't know what happened there. Probably that might be an NIL thing. Could be an NIL deal.
Yeah.
It could be an NIL deal. Look, that apparently he's better than Zach. From what
Really?
I kept hearing that he was better than Zach. So, because Zach Wilson was a stud. He was really good in college.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a pretty good start. They're saying he's day-to-day, Cam is. Yeah. More injury prone than yours. I don't know about that, but and it is now Arch Manning time down in Austin. Do you think he ever comes out again there, Big Mike?
I'm gonna no comment. No comment.
Why? Come on now.
I don't know. I mean, I have no idea. Like I saw Ewers got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Was it abdominal strain? I don't know much about abdominal strains. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea.
They generally take a little while to get over. It seems like
it would seem like that because your core is in everything. I don't know, man. I could care less, to be honest with you. I don't care who it is because we're coming after him. Like, and it just is what it is. And whoever it is what it is, man. Like
yeah, I don't think they lost much there. I mean, he looked, and again, where they were playing UTSA, and they didn't look near like they've been the last few years. They didn't look very good. No. But I mean, what, 2 out of the first 3 plays are touchdowns, and one of them is a 67-yard run. I don't think you've ever seen a Manning run more than 6 yards at a time. So that was cool. No, I mean, he looked really good. He looked really good, and
he did.
I don't think that they really lose much there with him. But I do think that it's a quarterback. Nobody wants to talk about it being a controversy. I think it's a controversy. I think it's more of a controversy than they want to hear about.
I said it earlier. I'm like, let earlier in the before season started, let Ewers come out and have a bad game, a couple picks, something like that. You got yourself a controversy. But we didn't talk about him getting hurt and Arch Manning coming in and balling. That's another way to start to have a quarterback controversy for sure.
No doubt. I mean, look, especially if he plays for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
If it's, and you look at Louisiana Monroe as a nothing game, they're trash. They're just not good. But then the next week you play host to Mississippi State. So he's going to look good in those games more than likely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the next game would be, do you want him starting against Oklahoma? Probably not. But then again, maybe.
Yeah.
He said, I got an abdominal strain playing golf. It lasted for months. Yeah. I mean, you probably didn't have the treatment that they give them at Texas, but I understand.
You're probably like me, 45-year-old, you don't recover like that anymore, man. These kids right now, they're young and they bounce back.
But that is one of those but you got to figure you're using your abs when you're throwing it and stuff. There's something to that, I think that no matter what. And here's the other thing about Quinn, and we know this is the case, that he struggles with, having some anxiety and things like that at times. And if he's trying to struggle to get back, I think there could be some stuff that goes on with it. I don't think it's a great thing for Texas, but as far as like maybe them having a quarterback controversy, I could see that happening. I could definitely see that happening. But I would also say that, Arch may be better than Quinn too. So I don't know that it's a great thing for anybody,
Yeah. If you put a gun to my head and said, who do you want to play against, Ewers or Arch? I'm going with Arch. I'd rather have Arch.
Just because the first time around and not having seen anything, he won't. Yeah, he's not going to have seen. It'll be kind of what we're talking about with Nico this week. Yep. You're talking about a guy that's first time starting against a real team. That's going to be crazy stuff right there. You know what I mean? And they're going to put all kinds of pressure on Arch Manning. Hey, bring it on. Bring it on. We're not going to be raising the white flags. That never happens. Only in Austin, brother. Only in Austin does that shit happen. We don't do that shit. Get their
I think
helmet
that has
taken for an
something.
ab strain, but I have for a concussion. Yeah, they did take
I
his
feel like
helmet
that
away.
has something to do with. I feel like that has something to do with helmet communications. Is why that they took his helmet, because you don't just leave those helmets laying around. And once I feel like that helmet communication has to go into Arch Manning's. I don't know if they can have multiple helmets with the communication.
Oh, I got you.
I know that they can only have one on the field, but I
On
don't
the
know how that.
field, I don't think that they probably had to change out helmets, but they want to take it away because you're not allowed to have it. Kind of deal is
Yeah,
what you're saying.
I feel like it, and you probably just
Maybe.
don't want that stuff laying around. There's probably a little security and OPSEC or something. You don't want that stuff to walk away or get damaged. I don't know.
This game is over at the half, no matter who the quarterback is. Ooh, Daniel Eubank, who are you talking? What you talking about? Because if you're not an Oklahoma fan and you're saying that, please do continue. Please say more. Tell us more.
Expound on that, please.
Yeah, let's hear that shit talking. That's funny. I hadn't really thought of that either. That's a pretty good call because I hadn't really thought about that. Good call.
Yeah.
Only one is active. Yeah, but they may have taken it away for who knows. Who knows? You don't want to end it up somehow to where you get in trouble for it or whatever too. I don't know.
So here's what that Tulane game, wasn't talked about is they were having a hell of a time with their helmet communications during the game. Like the little equipment guy, like he was fixing the whole first half, man. He was changing stuff out, fixing it, and that whole little station with the helmet communication was right in front of us on their bench, and they had a hell of a time with it, fixing that. And like I said, I would see him. That's what made me think about that. I would see this guy come with one helmet and take stuff out of it and put it in another helmet and put it on and listen, and then take it over to whoever was needing it. So I don't know how that works, but I just seen him, mix matching with helmets and the quarterback coming over, in between series.
The Red River runs crimson, baby. Come on. That was not. You think so? Come on.
When last year,
injury wise, last year there ain't no way. They're better on defense now than they were last year. Better on defense now, no doubt about it.
Keep them receipts, bruh.
Keep them, yeah, keep them all. Bishop Frank, he keeps them all. We got a receipt keeper right here, and I keep them too. So, but if I don't have it, I know Bishop Frank does. It's right there. So yeah, hey, it's gonna be great. I can't wait for the Red River, by the way. But right now we're thinking Tennessee. You got to win this game. It's a big game. It's a big game. A big game. Because and I don't know, man. I think that Tennessee, they've got a really complete team for the most part. I think that they're, obviously, yeah, we talked about their D line. I think that's a big matchup. Somebody said it in here earlier. It's a huge matchup because of the fact that the O line hasn't been great. But I would tell you that it's been better from week to week though too. There was a couple of times that we saw in the second half that they had breakdowns there. If Hickman comes back, I think things change quite a bit right there.
Big time.
And Michael Tarquin, all the shit people want to talk about Michael Tarquin, that dude has been the guy on the offensive line.
Playing pretty good. He's playing pretty good. Playing pretty good. Yeah, that offensive line's been mismatched, man. Mixing, matching, and it's tough, man. No cohesion.
And you got to have it, and I think they will. I think it's getting better as we go along. You're hearing more and more about Hickman coming back. I think that, that's pretty much the main one that you want to see get back into action. The rest of the guys that have been kind of banged up here and there, you're not going to get back. What's his name for at least a little while longer that we lost early that got us to get Hickman. But I think that you get Hickman back, and really, listen, man, Joshua Bates, he's filled in for being their quote unquote fourth stringer, third stringer, whatever you want to call him as the center. He's played his ass off the past couple of weeks.
When they had that little targeting on Jackson Arnold and Bates come running over, there was a collective don't do it from the stands. Like, somebody grab him. Like, everybody was like, don't do it. The whole
and there's a
stadium was
lot of
like,
people that were
no.
really pissed off about him taking that helmet off, which I agree that was stupid.
Dumb.
Stupid.
Dumb. Hey,
But
I
listen,
don't understand that. Like, if you're coming up to like fight a guy or like sweat him or like, bro, keep your helmet on. It's protection. Like, why would
right.
you take your helmet off and like open yourself up to getting hit in the face?
Yeah, it was dumb. There's no two ways around it that it was stupid. But what I really loved was the fact that he was that pissed off and trying to get after that guy like that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't have it. You cannot have.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, he said the right things to the team. He said the right things to the media. You didn't have to go out there and face the media. Why would he? But he did, and he said it was stupid. I give him props for that. I give him a lot of love for doing it, though. I didn't see a lot of other guys going after that dude's neck,
No.
and that's what I wanted to see more of.
Yeah.
So I got love for Josh Bates. I think
Do you think
he's
that
going to
was
be all right.
targeting? You think it was targeting?
Yeah. I know we're hearing stuff now that he didn't quite hit his knee yet or whatever. I don't think that's he was down. He was already down, so
So the only reason I think it was targeting is because he didn't make contact with anything else except he slung that elbow and that forearm into his head. And everybody thinks that targeting is like, this part into a quarterback. Well, that's only part of the rule. Like, any forcible contact to the head and neck area on a defensive player constitutes targeting, right? So
right.
I think that's where they got my man.
Sure.
Yeah.
Any way you look at it, he was protecting his quarterback, and I struggle to get too pissed off about you protecting your quarterback.
Yeah.
That's just where I'm at. We're going to see about how that goes, Chicken. I agree that I think our defense is going to put. I've said this a ton of times. I'll say it again. Oklahoma's defense is going to give them an opportunity to win every game.
Yep.
Every game. So if they continue to get incrementally better, just a little at a time on the offensive side, and hey, look, maybe we have seen a vanilla playbook on the other side. Maybe that's part of what's going on. Maybe this is a lot of playing. This might be a little bit of wishful thinking, but I'm kind of hoping they have been playing, possum a little bit with the offense.
Yeah.
It's probably wishful thinking, but I do think that they just got to get a little bit better each week. That's the facts.
Yeah.
They do that. They're going to be in position to win.
Yeah. Yep. Number one.
Yeah, I'm not popping that up there. Screw that guy. That gets no play on this channel.
That's so funny. I don't know why it makes me laugh, but it makes me giggle.
Yeah, those guys. Yeah, I'm quick on the trigger with the Texas guys. They always get at least one timeout per show. It's just part of the thing. It's part of it. It's kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
Tennessee and Ole Miss will both have wake-up calls coming soon. Well, Tennessee's might be this weekend. Hopefully this weekend they're Rob.
It's just, it's I've had this conversation before, everybody's a little, upset about the close variety of games that we're playing right now.
It doesn't bother me.
In my opinion, it helps us in the long run. I think we are better prepared right now for a tough, physical, close game than Tennessee. And instead of having these easy cakewalks, and a lot of Oklahoma fans thought, these first, 3 games were going to be cakewalks. Like, I looked at the schedule and I said, all right, we should do well against Temple. And I looked at Houston and Tulane as being real threats. Like, if we don't come to play against those dudes, we can lose those games. And
Willie Fritz is one of the best coaches in the country.
A lot of the fans thought those were just going to be like easy tune-up games. Listen, man, I'm not a big fan of that. Not a big fan of that. And I'd rather have be, a little battle tested, coming into a big game, and then be like Tennessee, where all their starters are out at halftime. That game gets in the third and fourth quarter. Like, we're going to see, what conditioning is like and how they handle that pressure and stress, being tired, and can they play mistake free? Where on the other hand, Oklahoma's been there the last 2 weeks, and we've done well in those pressure moments. The defense have shut people down, and it's an interesting dynamic, and
Sure.
that scheduling, the tale of two schedules. I listen, man. Can it be Saturday? Can it be Saturday tomorrow?
Let's be sad. Yeah, listen, man, I'm ready. I'm ready for it. I think that it's. I just believe that you obviously you got to go out there and get it done. You got to go out there and get it done. There's no reason for a bunch of talking, and I'm not sitting here telling you that they can't, that they're definitely going to win. I don't think that's what Big Mike's saying either, guys. I would tell you that I love the position that they're in. And I've said it for a long time that this was a game that it's been the game that I've been more concerned about than I am, say, Missouri or Ole Miss. I don't think that Ole Miss is really, they haven't scheduled anybody. And really their schedule for the SEC is on the lighter side as well. Yeah. So is in Missouri's, we know it is. But the point being is that when you go out there and you get battle tested and you go through that, Bishop Frank calls it the fire test all the time. You got to go through those things. You got to go through those things in life. But we've seen them do things this year already in tough situations. And people can say that you got the haters are out there saying, well, if you're having a hard time with this team and that team, what do you think is going to happen in the SEC? Let's not get it twisted and act like the entirety of the SEC has been great. Yeah. Because it hasn't. Let's not get it twisted here. So the bottom line is they've got all the toughest games coming up when it comes to SEC play. Oklahoma's playing the toughest SEC schedule, them and maybe Georgia. Of course, Florida's got a tough one, but we're talking about, if you're talking contenders, who's got it worse? You're playing the number 1, the number 3, the number 5 and 7 and 10 teams coming up.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out, did our schedule get harder or easier from the beginning of the season?
Harder.
You think it got harder? I don't think LSU looks quite as tough as we thought. I think Carolina looks a lot tougher than what originally was thought.
Well, South Carolina, on having them at home, you should win that game. Yeah. But I think that Alabama looks better than people thought that they would. LSU, I don't think they're very good. Yeah, I think they're a joke. And you've talked about this. So they got a freaking fraud for a head coach. He's full of shit, and it's starting to leak into his football team.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
That was hilarious last week when he pounded that table. Oh, my God.
What a bunch of bullshit.
I haven't laughed that hard in a while. That was hilarious.
It was so fake, right? It was like, it was as bad as his ridiculous damn Southern drawl thing that he tried to do.
Couldn't even knock over that water bottle. He couldn't even knock over the water bottle. You know what I mean? He probably went and iced his hand afterwards.
He did that shit because it was a felt table. It's a fucking Vegas table, man.
Oh, my God. That was good comedy. I appreciate it. Hey.
Stand that guy, man. He's on my last damn nerve ever since he pulled that shit with Dominic Williams, basically saying about guys wanting to get bought. And it was like, fuck, you don't act like you didn't cough up the cash. Didn't choose you.
People can see right through that. People can see right through that fakeness, that he ain't genuine. Like, people see through it. The recruits can see through it. Like, they all see it, man. Like, come on, man. Like, the dude, I don't know. He didn't start off hot when he went to LSU. And
he's an idiot.
He's continuing that. So, hey, let's talk about Florida real quick. Do you think so? I seen on Twitter or X today that the Board of Regents in Florida has a meeting today. Do you think Napier makes it out of the week? You don't think he makes it out of there?
Well, who do they have this week? Because that's what I was wanting to look at, and I meant to look at it. But I know. Let's see.
How'd Lagway play? I haven't seen that.
That's the thing that kind of got me about it, was that Lagway played okay. He had a bad interception at the end, but Mertz was, if you were going to play him, and he basically switched him out every series.
Oh,
every series, which
really?
You usually do that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're doing the 2 quarterback thing, which is it's a bad place to be in, right?
Yeah.
But if you're doing that and you're going, let's go series to series, usually the guy that's got the hot hand is who you're going to end up sticking with for after a bit. He pulled, and Mertz was playing well, and he kept going back to the well with Lagway. First off, either play the freaking freshman or don't. To me, I felt like you got to play the freshman or not, and I felt like you should just play him. But if you're going to do what you're doing, it almost seemed like he did it on purpose. It was like, oh no, y'all want Lagway? Here he is. Which when you start doing that, to me, then now you're done. We're finished with you at this point. Yeah, I think he's gone. We can look at the schedule real quick, but
yeah, I don't think I don't know. I don't think he gets out of it, man. I think it's only going to get worse.
They've got Mississippi State. They're on the road at Mississippi State, but I mean, it's a winnable game.
Yeah.
But I can tell you what, I think he's already gone because they were doing that meeting stuff. I think that they've been ready to fire him since the Miami game because they got embarrassed the way that they did.
Looking for a reason.
Doing what you did against Old Dominion, maybe the Lagway thing kind of kept him in the. But I think he thumbed his nose at everybody this past weekend doing that. That's the impression that I got out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think if he makes it out of this week, I don't think he lasts. I don't think, like, Florida's. They got to find somebody, man. They got to get a guy that can build a culture.
Mm-hmm.
That Tulane coach might be a good fit.
I think he'd be a hell of a fit. We were talking about him. He's the guy's lost 5 games, and I mean, at Troy, that's not an easy place to just go win every damn game, and he was winning every damn game.
Yep.
And who was it that did they beat? Or they were close to LSU last year, weren't they? Maybe they were close to LSU. And I know that obviously Tulane almost beat Ole Miss last year.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I got to watch Troy in person last year at K-State. They look good, man. They were competitive. They had a receiver. Man, that dude was just making all kind of Odell Beckham type catches, man. He was good. But yeah, they were an impressive team, man. They had some big dudes. They competed well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just can't see Napier like turning it around. I don't know.
Right. I don't either. I think he's done. I think he's done. I don't know why.
Sunday.
I'm surprised that, I thought he was done yesterday, but everything that you've read, I mean, I was reading about it this morning, and then the professor was on at the very first of the show. He's from High Top Sports, and they're Florida guys. So he was like, yeah, that they're hearing from certain people around the program, the alumni, the boosters and stuff, that his ass is out.
Yeah.
So I figured that, I mean, if anybody's going to know it, it's going to be those guys.
That's the final straw, man. When you get them boosters and them alumni calling for you, it's a wrap.
Especially places like that. They've got a quick trigger anyway. And I think they could give a shit about the $25 million they owe him. I don't think they care.
No, not at all.
There's somebody that'll pay that off.
Oh yeah, they probably already got it.
Yeah, it's been ready.
There's probably people just, I got half, I'll put something on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
Napier and the AD. Well, the AD's been, he's done a shit job apparently. What they've talked about at Florida, I don't see him being there either way.
Who is it? Who is AD?
Oh damn it! Who is that? I forget his name, but they've been talking about him a lot too. That he's already on his way out, and that the best thing he can do is go ahead and go and make a splash hire. Because if not, Florida AD. Yeah, Scott Strickland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they haven't loved what he's done anyway, but the way that he went about the whole deal with getting Napier, because they ended up owing Mullen money too. I mean, it was kind of and it looks worse every year that Napier's been there because, I mean, Mullen was winning. He made the comment about not loving recruiting. Okay, well, you don't have to. I mean, he should have shut the hell up. And I think he's got a weirdo wife that kind of had everybody a little weirded out too. you know, little handsy with the players apparently, but
oh no,
but,
oh
I mean, that's
no,
neither here nor there. They just
yeah,
can't get right. Sean D says, about to be on
yeah.
their fourth coach in 10 years. Yeah, yeah, we've seen this. There's somewhere else I can think of that's kind of similar to that. You know?
Hey, so this weekend on Sunday, I heard an amazing quote about coaching hires. I was watching the Detroit Tampa game, and the president, general manager, I think, or maybe part owner of the Lions. When they were looking for that new head coach when they hired Campbell, she was like, "I wasn't looking for the latest whiz kid on offense or defense and the new young hot shit hire." She was like, "I was looking for a leader of young men." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Man, that she gets it." That was a hell, and that was a great statement from her. And I think that is
Who are you
applicable to
talking about? Who are you talking
the
about?
owner of the president or the president owner of the Detroit Lions.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
older lady, but I mean, she hit it on the spot, man. Like that was perfect. I think it's applicable to Florida. I think that's what they need. They need
no doubt.
somebody to come down there and be a leader.
I agree. Then they haven't had that guy really.
No,
It,
no,
I mean, I think Dan Mullen was a pretty good coach, but he's not Urban Meyer. Let's not get it crazy. He's not.
yeah,
He worked with Urban for a long time, but he wasn't Urban. And
yeah.
then who was it that they got rid of that guy before that? The former Colorado State coach. I'm trying to remember his name, but it seemed like they pulled the trigger awfully quick on him, though. Right?
Yeah.
I didn't really get it, but and
They're
then I
they're
mean,
in
I'm
a
not.
downward spiral,
They have
that
been,
coach
and it's just you. This
hard.
expectation. It's always been weird to me for Florida because aside from those years that obviously they did what they did with Urban Meyer and those guys. But
No.
other than that, the Spurrier years at the end of the 90s and the early 2000s, they haven't been worth a crap other than that.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
weird to me that they act the way that they do around there. You got to I get it, they're trying to recreate that or whatever, but I don't know that these quick triggers on these hires and fires are the way. Not to say that Billy's doing a great job, because he's not.
Yeah.
But I think that at some point you need to settle in and let somebody do their job and get their team in there. And, I don't know. I think it's just the losses, the way some of those losses have happened that have been pretty embarrassing. When you lose to Vandy, and then they've lost to a lot of the games that they've lost have just been bad losses. And that Miami thing looked really bad. They got the
Who
shit kicked out of them at home.
who if you were the Board of Regents chancellors at Florida, who do you want as your next head coach? If money was no object and you could go get them, who do you want?
Whoa, Nick Saban. I mean, if we're being real, Nick
Yeah.
Saban.
Yeah.
Is that going to happen? No, I don't
Yeah.
think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Aside from that,
Yeah.
I like GJ Kinney a lot. I think that he's the Texas State coach. I love him. I think Jeff Traylor's a hell of a coach as well. Listen, I like the guy from Tulane right now. I think he's one of the best. Summerall, I love him. I think he's a really good coach, and a lot of people are talking good about him. As far as young guys that you can see kind of pushing them to the next level, I think he's in SEC country. I think it's a good hire for them. I think it would be a really good hire. He's done well at Troy. He's doing well at Tulane. I think his next step would be that. Do I think that that's who they want? No, I think they're going to get. I think it's going to be Kiffin. I think it's going to be Lane, and I don't think that that's the best hire. But I think that's who it is.
That's the thing, is like, do you stay on that same path of like the next hottest thing, or are you looking for somebody that for the long haul and turn your culture around and build and be a leader? You know what I mean? Like, maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't get those vibes from Lane. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't agree. I'm with you. I'm not saying that it's who that should be. I don't think that it should be Lane.
Yeah.
But I think that Lane's done a good job at Ole Miss, though. You got to give him that, because aside from the Hugh Freeze years, whenever he was doing really well, they don't win at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
They don't. So Lane has had them winning 8, 9, 10 games every year since he got there.
Yeah.
That's relevancy. Do I think that he's that coach that's going to take you to the next level at a power program? I think that this year is going to tell us a lot. And I think that if he gets them in the playoff, I think they certainly grab him up. Again, though, I just don't know that to me, I'm with you. I don't think he's the best coach out there. I like him. I like Lane because he picks a fight. And I mean, he's great for our for what I'm doing here. Great to have a guy like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
for sure.
I mean, a lot of people call him Lane Whiffen. He ain't never won a big game. The dude hasn't won a big game.
Oh no, that's hilarious.
When he wins the next big game, it'll be the first time he's done it. I look at him the same way I look at Franklin. I don't think they're great. I think they do a good job. But you got to beat some of those teams that you're not supposed to beat. And I get it that, expecting him to beat Nick Saban or to beat Kirby Smart, it's expecting a lot. I don't care. Go do it. You're going to have to do it at some point if you want to win a national championship. Again, do I think that he's the right pick for Florida? I do not. I don't think that he's the right guy. I think that I would go with I would even go with what's his name at Washington now that was at Arizona State or that at Arizona, sorry, before this. I think I would go with him first. I think overall my favorite coaches that I think are the guys that should be I love Lance Leipold. I don't see him ever taking that job. I think he's a Midwest guy. He stays in the Midwest. I think if
they got a nice house. Supposedly they got a nice house and property in Florida.
Okay. Yeah, but they're so quick to. I just don't see that really being the spot for Leipold. I think he waits and sees what happens with Sharon Moore at Michigan and takes the Michigan job, if not, because I think that's more his, or maybe the Penn State job. I could see him taking one of those. He takes one of those, they get really good really quick. You know that.
His OC's already there. His old OC, Colton Nagy's already there.
At Penn State. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. I think he's one of the best coaches in the country. But again, I like GJ Kinney a lot too.
Yeah.
And I like Jeff Traylor a lot. But I think, I don't know, man. I keep hearing a lot of stuff about they're talking about Dillingham in here. Somebody was talking about.
I thought you were gonna let me get my pick in, but that was my pick, Leipold.
Leipold? For Florida?
That's who I'd go after if I was Florida. That's who I would.
Okay. So do you think that that's a possibility though?
I don't know.
You said he's got a house there, so maybe.
Yeah, I supposedly they got some some land and a nice house there somewhere. That's what I've heard. I've seen people talk about it. I don't know. But if like I said, like I asked you the question, if I could choose who I would, if I could just handpick and money was no thing, and I'd probably take Leipold.
Yeah, I think he's great. I think
he's a great coach. I think he's a leader. I think he builds his programs the right way. He's doing a great job, and he's showing you at Kansas, man. If you come into Kansas and Lawrence and turn that around, they're having a little rough time right now. But overall, the program has gotten better. Been to 2 bowl games the last 2 years. Won the last bowl game out there, and I think it was in Vegas. Won that bowl game. I think they're doing a good job, and I think he's doing a good job. And if a coach, a young up and comer, I like Leipold. I like the Tulane coach. Yeah, I think
this Drinkowitz shit is. I can't help it. You guys got to stop. It's not fucking drink. You guys got to stop that shit.
What am I missing about drink?
They're talking about drink being a Florida guy. Get the fuck out of here. It's not happening, folks. That guy is not that good.
Don't
drink.
Like to drink.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Still crazy how Florida fans ran off Mullen. I don't know. I've heard there's some stuff that you've heard about that it could have had some more to do with that. But I mean, they used the excuse about what he said about recruiting, but I think there's more to it. Sark is the next Saban. You got to go for that one. Guys, why do I have to keep kicking him out? Shit. Oh, I just got Bishop Frank on accident.
Yeah, you hit the Bishop.
See? You guys are screwing it up, and I'm screwing up with Bishop Frank. Now he's going to be all pissed at me. Stop making me kick him out.
They got you all flustered.
They want a new coach from in the first 2 years or else. Eesh, that's tough, though.
Dude, that's super tough. Has that ever happened? Has that ever happened in college football?
Well, yeah. Stoops did it.
Hey.
Stoops did it.
Yep, you're right.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. As desirable as we thought. With the I think I agree with this part. I think Zofix is right. It's not a super desirable destination for coaches because they are so quick on the trigger here. And the expectations there's a lot of expectations there.
But I mean, at what point do you have to temper your expectations, right? Like when do you have to be brutally honest with yourself and assess what's going on at your university? And you have to rip, like we said at BV, you have to rip it down to the studs, bro. You have to rip it to the studs and start over. And I know that pains people, but
I think you do too, and nobody loves it because they think because of the portal that all of a sudden you can just automatically win. It's the same shit you're hearing right now out of some Oklahoma fans. They're just a little beyond. They're expecting way too much too quick. The truth is, and I heard, who was it? Oh, Pate said the other day that the stench of the 6 and 7 season. That fucking season belongs to Lincoln. You know? That shit, blaming it on BV is the dumbest shit. And BV will never put it off on anybody else. He's never done that. But I can tell you, as somebody who watched it, and we all went through it, there was games that they lost by one possession that they wouldn't have been in a one possession game if it hadn't have been for the fact that they were there. They're turning it around.
What people have to realize, what Coach Venables did in that first year, like he just didn't process people out. You know what I mean? He kept a lot of those players. You know, he didn't do it like a Coach Prime in his first year. Just everybody got to go. I'm bringing in my Louis, right?
Right. Yeah.
He worked with those dudes, and I think that's commendable, man. I think you're doing right by the players.
Sure.
But I mean, it's 6 and 7 with what he had. Shit, I thought that was a hell of a coaching job. And they were in a lot of ball games, 1-score games. Like they're in a lot of ball games.
Yeah, they were.
I just think he did it the right way, and it may be unpopular, but I think he handled it the right way and went about his business the right way.
Well, here's what I think though too, people are in love with offensive coaches. Mm-hmm. They don't win championships, but they fucking fall in love with these guys. It's who they always want. It's always the first guy that people talk about, or that's the splash hire. Is always the offensive guy.
Yeah.
And the truth is, that shit don't work. You can win games. You're not going to win championships. And if you really want them to win a championship, look, Urban Meyer, I guess you could call him an offensive guy. But he'd be about the only one that you can call an offensive guy that won a national championship. The rest of these guys are defense first all the time.
Yeah.
Think about it. And even with Stoops, he was a defensive coordinator before he took the job. He was the DC at Florida, for that matter. And I'm telling you, it's what it takes. It's what it takes. And I'm that guy. I believe that. I believe that now. I love offense as much as the next guy. I like to see high-flying offenses. It makes college football fun. You need a guy that freaking puts defenses on the field. And we have that guy at Oklahoma. We have that guy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to me, I'm there.
That next comment right there from Sooner Brandon, you
Mhm.
know, BV has said this before, like you have to get out of your comfort zone. And I don't know if we have if BV stays the whole time, I don't know if we have the same BV that we have now. You know,
I agree with that.
he had to get out of his comfort zone and go out and expand his knowledge and start over and prove that he was that guy.
That guy. Right. Yeah. Because I think a lot of the people, and I think a lot of the people in Oklahoma, we know better now with the hindsight thing that Mike
Yeah.
Stoops, because him and Mike Stoops were co-coordinators for a long time. Right.
Mhm.
And so there was that thought that it wasn't really him. But what he went and did at Clemson definitely did. And I think you do have to get out of your comfort zone. And I think that he says that a lot.
Yep.
Not only that, but he made recruiting ties out there that he didn't have before.
Mhm.
So I think that
Mhm.
there's, you can look back in hindsight, and I tend to agree with what she's talking about. I think when it comes to all that, you can definitely look and see where, yeah, we'd love to have had him then. But I do believe that, yeah, he had to go. He had to go do that and prove that he was another guy. Look,
Yep.
Stoops wasn't exactly trying to keep him to stay. And I know he had even thought about not finally taking the job, and they kind of had to talk him in. No, you need to do this, And I think he did need to do it. It was the right thing for him. I think he'd tell you that all day long. And I'm glad that he had that opportunity to go out there and win some more and learn, just not just because of that, because he's worked for two different championship coaches.
Yeah.
And so you
And
learn a little bit of different perspective from the other guy too. I'm going to tell you, as much as Dabo needs to do a better job of kind of moving forward and adapting a little bit, Dabo's still a hell of a damn football coach. Go ahead.
Mhm. And I've heard the same, I've heard the same sentiment. Coach Hall, Brandon Hall, said the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Going to Troy. He had to get out, take that other job, you know, prove himself, get in an uncomfortable situation. I mean, you've heard it with Coach Allie too. Same thing. So I mean, I think it's just part of the process, coaching and taking your coaching to the next level and getting out of your comfort zone,
Sure.
and proving yourself, you know, to some other people and doing a good job. And like they're always watching it, and when it's time to come back, that's BV, he's got his guys, and when it's time to come back, they're gonna come back.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Come back
No,
well rounded and a better football coach.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I think Coach Venables is going to be a head coach at some point either way. You know what I mean? I do think
Hmm.
that. Um,
Hmm.
but I have a hard time second guessing anything that he's done. I think it
So
was right by, and I think that, things happen for a reason. They do.
yeah,
I mean, for that matter, I don't know that they would have went with him anyway. I think had it not been for the way things ended with Heupel, it's Heupel that probably gets it, you know. And that was all had something to do with the way that, Stoops didn't handle all that great, at the end right there. Whenever he let BV go, he fires Josh Heupel, and all that shit centered around Mike Stoops. But I think it actually worked out best for everybody involved too. I think that Josh is in a great position because of it. I think that BV's in a great position because of it too.
hmm
You know,
yeah,
you can look back of it and be like, that's bullshit. That's not the way it should have went. If you're an Oklahoma guy, you probably do.
yeah,
But I think it's all working itself out very well right now. I
yeah,
really do. And I think that Zach, I mean, the guys that they brought in, I think somebody just said it up here too. You've got a situation where you've got all these Clemson ties is what has your defensive staff there. No doubt.
yeah.
No doubt about it. I like the team that they've put
I mean, do we think
out there.
Coach Sweeney is still reeling from losing BV? Do we
I think
think
he
that
is.
do we think that like that loss of Coach Venables is like, are we not talking about that enough? Is that flying under the radar?
I think Oklahoma fans talk about it a lot, but
Yeah,
I
but
would tell
nationally,
you that nationally, no, they're not saying it enough. And Venables and nobody around Venables would ever do that to Dabo. Never.
yeah,
You know, he's a loyal person, and he's kept his promise not to recruit his kids,
yeah,
any of that kind of stuff. Maybe to his own detriment, for that matter, because I think that there's some kids that they should have recruited a little harder and would have probably showed up. But
yeah,
that being said, I give him credit for that. I give him credit for that. But I tell you that, yes, I think there's and I think the Clemson fans will tell you that all damn day, that he was as big a part as anything. And I think that had he been there, not just because of the defense, because they've been fine defensively. It's not like that's the problem. It's their offense that's the problem, right? The fact that he doesn't want to change anything up. But I think that Brent he was able to say things to Dabo that nobody else is willing to say.
yeah,
I think that's as big a thing as anything myself.
yeah.
Yeah, and Bill, yes, we don't want to say it. Yes, of course. 3 championship coaches. You're right. I'm not saying anything bad. He may never get back to the top. He is a great coach, but I don't know. They have to do what? Yeah, Bill Snyder. Yeah, I got you, man. I'm on it. Yeah, I agree that I think that the best thing for him was to do that. But yeah, I don't know. Let's see what else we got. Bill Snyder was his own dude, man. And to do that at K-State. K-State's in a position now to where I don't know that I see them winning a natty, but they're at the top of this league right now because of what Bill Snyder did over all those years. Because they were god awful back then.
Yeah.
Before him, oh.
Well, I mean, let's show you how much of a G Coach Snyder was. You know, when he retired the first time, you know, they hired that other guy, and he come in and
Ron Prince,
just went to crap. And he's like, "Get him out of here! I'm coming back. I can't let you just undo all the work that I did." And you know, that's some G shit right there, man. Like he came back, and I think they made the right hire with Coach Kleiman. I think that was the guy for the job.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Why does it seem like a lot of SEC teams have cupcake specials? And then Stevie G says, "Who do y'all want as the game day guest picker?"
I think we talked about it earlier. Let's put McCoy out there. Get McCoy on there.
He'll probably pick Tennessee and piss everybody right off. Yeah. Oh man, I don't want him to do that because I love Gerald McCoy, and right now he's making it hard on himself, and he lives back in OKC. So
I don't think he'd pick Tennessee, dude.
I don't know. I think he might. He's not super high on Oklahoma right now. He's really not.
Who do you want?
I think Patty Gasso ought to be their guest picker.
Oh, I like that.
To be quite honest with you.
I like that.
I think it'll be Patty.
The GOAT.
She's a freaking living legend, man. Dude, she just got the statue. Yeah, it's got to be Patty. It's got to be Patty.
I know, right? I like that. Bradford.
Sam Bradford would be great. I'd be cool with that. You don't see a whole lot of him as far as like out in the.
No, he's pretty quiet.
Yeah, I think it's got to be Patty though. That's just my feelings. I don't know. What do you guys think?
JR from WWF.
As far as the question, why does it seem like a lot of SEC teams have cupcake schedules?
Well, I think that's
first off. I don't think we were talking about Georgia for sure there, Sean D, because they played Clemson, so we know that. But yeah, Sam, I like Sam too.
Coach Switzer, that'd be cool. I like that. That'd be cool.
Coach Switzer would also be very cool.
That'd be very cool.
Yeah. I don't think you can go wrong with any of those. I don't
Yeah.
think you can go wrong with any of those.
I
I
think you could,
think,
I think the Boz would be a great choice.
yeah,
I think the
could see
fans
that.
would like that, and I think that'd be cool too.
Yeah, maybe Danny Stutzman's pops,
Yeah.
Steve.
Yeah, I like Steve. Steve's a
He's
good dude,
fun,
man.
man. He's a
I
trip.
like
He's
yeah, I
been
like
on
it.
he's been on Legends channel now, and
Yeah,
he was on the Surge last night.
yeah,
So
yeah.
he was on the
He's
Sooner
a funny
Surge
guy.
guys. Yeah.
I like Mr. Stutz.
Yeah, he's cool, man.
Yeah,
He's a trip. He's just like, well, Danny got it from somewhere. You knew that his dad had to have been a pistol because of the way Danny is. You
yeah.
know, love it.
Hmm.
Jason White, who? It's not AP,
Adrian
folks.
Peterson.
It's
Okay, I like that.
AD.
I like
AD.
that.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
love
like that.
Adrian Peterson too.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like that.
AD would be fine. Don't call him AP, guys. Don't call him AP. It's AD all
All
day.
day,
Adrian Peterson.
all
Come on
day, bro.
now, we know better than that.
Yeah, they ain't getting
Stoops,
me. They
Stoops
ain't
could
getting.
be also as well.
Yeah, they.
Big Mike Boganowski, you want to be the guest picker?
Hey, if they asked me to, hell yeah, I would. But shit, I ain't nobody.
Give it a
I
year
ain't
or two.
nobody.
Whenever, give it a year or two after when Mike is a starter
Yeah.
and all that stuff. I could see that being
Hey, I
something
was
that worked
joking
out.
with a couple friends the other night. SEC Mike retweeted that thing that I posted out there, and I was like, "Have I arrived?" I was like, "Am I?" Yeah, I was like, "Am I? Have I arrived on these X spaces? Like, is this my
You
coming
might have.
out party?"
SEC Mike's pretty popular, man. He's definitely they
Yeah,
got a their channel's fun. I'll give them that. You
yeah,
know, um, they're a trip. They're a trip. Both of them. I
yeah.
like
That
those
was.
guys.
I got a kick out of that last night. That was pretty funny. It was pretty funny.
Hmm. You don't. Oh, I don't. Yeah, you know what? I think you're right, Kimberly K. I don't think you would do it either because of the stuff between him and Josh. That's a good call. I think they could do. They don't need Stoops to be that guy, anyways. I think there's other people you could get. AP Allen Patrick is okay. That's not who y'all are talking about, but okay.
Oh man, funny.
Um, AD telling the world belt to ass would take a whole new meaning.
Bro,
Ben G,
bro,
now you got to go. That's not funny.
bro.
You got to go for that. Smart ass. Cousin Shane. His cousin Shane. Are they going to be there this week? I don't even know. I don't know if they're going to be there
I
this
don't
week.
know. Only thing I've seen is College Game Day and Josh Pate are the two that I've seen. I haven't
And
seen
Josh
any
Pate
other.
was here last weekend too.
Really? Really?
That's how I saw a picture of him there. It may
Oh,
have been
okay.
from last year though, or something.
Okay. Yeah, I did see him say that they were coming this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Who is this fours up forever, dude? Rhett Bomar. Now you're talking shit. You said AP earlier too. You get a timeout. Timeout for you, buddy. I don't care who you root for. You called him AP, and now you're saying Rhett Bomar. Get out of here,
Okay.
Mangino. I'd be okay with Mangino. I love Mangino. He's our boy. I think you could go with players though. I think you can go with guys that have played here. Roy
Yeah.
Williams would be great.
Yep.
Sam Bradford. I think my favorite pick right now is if we're going players, Sam Bradford's the guy. Make it happen. Make it
Yeah.
happen, folks.
That's pretty cool. I don't trap house.
We need Trap House to do it and get the crowd hyped. I think they
Oh,
need to trap. Think that the school needs to tap into Big Trap.
yeah.
They do. They need to tap into Big Trap. When
Yeah.
Big Trap says it's Easter, you should color your eggs.
Hey, he could definitely produce one of those pre-game videos that they
Absolutely,
do.
dude.
Like
Big Trap's
just
my dude, man. I love
yeah,
Big
I like
Trap.
his stuff, man. I like his content. It's pretty dope. Like he's,
Absolutely,
you know,
man. He's my
I had
guy.
I had a little chopped and screwed era in my college days. You know what I
Hell
mean?
yeah.
So I get down with that. You know,
There you
I
go.
think that would be a cool thing to put up on the big screen. A little pregame hype video.
They love him, and the players love him. I mean, look, I'll tell you something about Big Trap. My first year doing this, and Bryce had been on with me, and now he wasn't, and I was doing my first live by myself, and it wasn't going well. I had like 10 people in here maybe, and I was getting ready for it to be my absolute last show. This shit was over with. I was done. And all of a sudden, Big Trap showed up in there and started a kind of dialogue back and forth with me and was, just being real cool about it. And next thing, he's out there trying to get a bunch of other people to come in. Next thing I know, there was 50 people in here.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for him, I was done that day. So I always give love to Big Trap, man. Always.
He's Army, right? Like I seen it
he's
on
Army as well. Yes,
19
absolutely.
Delta maybe or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a dog. That dude was a dog in the Army.
Yeah.
So
for sure. For sure. Yeah, that would be pretty cool, man. I'm actually my mind was racing a little bit right there while you're talking. Like, that'd be pretty dope on the big screen for sure.
Hell yeah. He does great videos, man. He does great videos. I've been trying to get him. He's been doing, I don't know how many he's done the last week or so. But I mean, and he says what he says what he feels, but he was doing kind of an audio podcast there for a couple of weeks, and I never did get it live, but I would watch them all and listen to them all. And I love Big Trap, man. Like I said, he's always got I always got his back. Always got his back. I hope he gets more like that. And he had said something about, man, y'all should have had me do one of these videos. That one of the very first ones, those pre-game videos. I think it was for the first one of the year. Trap is the man.
That would be pretty.
Indeed is. Shout out to Big Trap, man. Shout out to Big Trap. We're pushing for you, Big Trap. We'd love to see it.
For sure, that'd be cool.
Yep. See, everybody in here loves him. I'm serious. He was the only reason that I'm still doing this is because of Big Trap. And then it kind of took off a little bit from there. And then, there's always been times that you kind of want to quit, but he pushed me that day. And like, I've had people who have definitely pushed since then as well, but that it would have ended that day if not for him. So I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree, Billy.
That's pretty sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, he's the man. All right, we can end it on that. I think that's good. That's good. Good talk. Good talk we've had today. We've been on for a while now.
Well,
definitely look forward to this weekend. You guys going to be there this weekend? I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
my youngest one's got a game in Council Grove, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as that game's over, about 9:30, 10, loading up, heading south.
Hot damn.
Yep, Council Grove. Yep.
Cool. Well, cool deal, man. And I'm not positive that I'm going to be there, but I'm trying to get there. So maybe if I do, I'll get a hold of you guys and we'll see if we can meet up for sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, thanks a lot for coming on, man. I enjoy having you on, man. We're gonna start doing this every week. Gotta get.
Let me know, man. I enjoy this. Like I said, man, I'm retired right now. I'm taking a little break. I got time, bro. Hit me up. I got time.
Hey, I'll hit you up, man, for sure. We'll just plan on having you on every Monday for sure. That way we can, get a little breakdown on the game from last week and what's coming up this week. So we'll figure it out for next weekend. But if you're in, I'd love to have you next Monday.
Yeah. Hey, Stephen G. There is NIL stuff out there. A couple things in the works. Yeah, a couple things in the works. You can get his jersey on Fanatics. There is a NIL shirt thing through the university that you can go out there and get some shirts. Yeah, so it's out there, man. It's out there.
The Fanatics stuff for sure. You can even use our Fanatics to get on there and get a better deal too. It's hofmedia.us/Fanatics, but definitely go on there and get one of his jerseys. Off of Fanatics, and then anything that we can do, I'll jump on his. Does he have it on his Twitter or something like that? Because we'll definitely promote that.
Trying to get his butt to get a little bit more on top of that stuff. You can only lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, man. Like,
he's thinking about the right things, though, Big Mike. He's thinking about the right things about football instead of that. I don't have it. Maybe you guys got to handle that.
Dude, I'll post. I'll tweet some stuff. I'll put it out.
That'll work. Yeah, do that one.
I'll do it. I try not to take too much control, but it's his stuff. But I'll
no
help
doubt.
promote it for sure. But yeah, let me
for
know.
sure. Well, and I will too, man. You just put that out there, and I'll make sure that we stick it into our. We can put it on the website. We'll definitely put it on the in the description of these videos and stuff like that too. We love that, so enjoy doing that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. T Boomer, thanks a lot for. Hey, we appreciate it. Always enjoy coming on here. It's all for you guys. We enjoy doing. Oh, look, Numbnuts is here. Neilio. He came here at the right time. But he's talking about the fake UT. How bad does look. Boom. Got to do it every time. All right. Hey, thanks a lot, Mike, for coming in and spending some time with us today. Folks, thank you for spending your time with us on this Monday morning as well. I got to get off to the other job as well. So we're going to get, but thanks a lot, guys, for coming in. We'll see you all on the next one.